The great wave of magical technology. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 201 The First Battle. Dante, you little brat, you dare to insult me. I will never let you go today. Like a wild bull that was instantly enraged, Rafa's face flushed slightly, and several students from the Imperial Capital Academy beside him hurriedly held him back. He felt that he was being nakedly humiliated, and his anger was completely ignited in an instant. Rafa, don't mess around. This is the academy. Oh my god, who is that kid? How dare he talk to Rafa like that? From the magic robe he is wearing, he should be a student of Alkaline Academy, and he should be here to participate in the academy ranking. Is it the Alkaline Academy that has always been ranked last among the 4 major academies? The students of the Imperial Capital Academy mentioned Alkaline Academy with some contempt. Although Alkaline Academy's annual ranking is not very good, a skinny dragon beast is bigger than a horse, and who knows if it will really produce a figure. Senior, you think too highly of them. Soon, all the participants from the 4 major academies arrived. The major colleges still attach great importance to the ranking between colleges this time. Almost every college has a strong person at the level of vice president to lead the team. Although these vice presidents seem to be chatting and laughing on the surface, they are secretly provoking each other. Patrick, it seems that you are very confident in this college ranking battle. This time you should be well prepared. Don't you have any secret weapons? I wonder what your goal is this time. Our Alkaline College is inferior to your 3 major colleges in terms of location and foundation. It may be difficult to improve the ranking. Owen Patrick said in a very calm tone. Is it really like this? The vice presidents of the other 3 colleges are all old foxes, and they are obviously a little unconvinced. Did I say it wrong? Owen Patrick asked back. Just like the one named Dante in your school, I heard that he is extraordinary. Dante? He is just a poor student. Owen Patrick said indifferently. The vice presidents of the 3 major colleges were also a little unsure whether what Owen Patrick said was true or false. Old fox, his mouth is really tight. It's not easy to get anything out of him. In the college ranking competition, each school can bring 200 people as special guests to watch the game. Some powerful forces have also been invited. The audience seats are already full. The law enforcement teams of the 4 major colleges maintain order on the field. In order to save time, the college ranking competition uses an elimination system in the early stage, and 20 winners are selected as the players for the second round. Yunfan's luck is pretty good. The first opponent is a warrior named Churchill from the Imperial Capital College. Churchill's ranking in the Imperial Capital College is not high, only 9th. The guy named Churchill was very happy when he saw that his opponent was Yunfan. I was very worried that I would lose this game, but I didn't expect to meet a mage student from Alkaline College. Boy, just surrender obediently. At such a close distance, you, a mage, will definitely be blown up by me. There is a consensus on the mainland that mages of the same level will suffer more than warriors in a close-range duel. The time it takes to chant magic spells is enough for warriors to get close. As Churchill's voice just fell, he suddenly stood up and approached Yunfan, clenched his right hand into a fist, and smashed towards Yunfan fiercely. Churchill made many people watching the game sigh. It was already an advantage for you, a warrior, to fight a mage at close range. You actually took action directly when asking someone a question. This can be described as shameless. And his move was thunderous, and it seemed that he was ready to severely injure Yunfan. According to the physical condition of the two, the speed and power of this punch clearly showed that Churchill was ruthless. If Yunfan was really hit, he would be seriously injured if not dead, considering the body of a magician. There is murderous aura in his body. It seems that this guy wants to kill me on the field. Yunfan keenly caught the murderous intent in Churchill's eyes. I don't seem to have offended him. Could it be that this guy was bribed? Seeing the attack coming, Yunfan raised his heels and twisted his body suddenly, and he miraculously avoided Churchill's attack again. Churchill's punch hit the air, and his body was affected by inertia, and he staggered and rushed away. How can this kid be so skilled? Is he really a magician? Many spectators thought to themselves. Looking at Yunfan again, he raised his right hand slightly and took out the magic wand from the space ring, then waved his left hand, and two skeleton mechanical puppets appeared on both sides of him in an instant, and then a disdainful smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. With these little hands of yours, you still want to trick me? Today I will let you taste my skeleton seed tactics. A series of surprises suddenly came from the mouths of some onlookers nearby. They couldn't help but start to look at Yunfan. A dodge might mean that Yunfan was just lucky, but what the hell is this weird skeleton warrior? When everyone was surprised, Churchill suddenly rushed towards Yunfan again like a stimulated beast. His eyes were red, and he roared, using both hands to try to beat Yunfan into a meat pie. If you want to get close to me, you'd better get rid of my baby first. Yunfan said lightly. You bastard, you look down on me too much, don't you? You want to stop me with just a skeleton warrior? Churchill said while punching the skeleton warrior with his fist. The imagined scene of the skeleton warrior being crushed did not appear. Instead, Churchill was pushed back 2 steps by the skeleton warrior. Fuck, how is this possible? Many spectators' eyes popped out. This simply refreshed their cognition. Damn, bastard. Miracles were repeated. Under Churchill's fierce attack, the skeleton warrior was able to block Yunfan just right every time. The speed was also extremely fast, which was not like the speed that a skeleton warrior could have. Is this really a skeleton warrior? If I'm not mistaken, this skeleton warrior has more than 1 or 2 runes engraved on his body. Several spectators who had seen Yunfan muttered. Yunfan's behavior was absolutely naked provocation in Churchill's eyes, and he was extremely arrogant, but Churchill felt helpless in his heart. Wow, his skeleton warrior is so powerful, I have never seen such a perverted one. This kid is a bit special. A student from a certain college smacked his lips. Chapter 202 Winning. Churchill, we are in trouble this time. A student from the Imperial Capital Academy muttered. I didn't expect Churchill to be so useless that he couldn't even handle this kid. The students on the viewing platform had different expressions. Damn it, I'm going to kill you. Churchill roared wildly, completely crazy, and desperately approached Yunfan. Those 2 skeleton warriors are already at the 4th level of strength. The vice presidents of several major colleges on the VIP stage also began to discuss. I didn't expect that there would be a student who strengthened the skeleton warriors to this extent. Patrick, you are hiding very well. Armstrong Saxton, the vice president of the Sacred Academy, looked at Patrick meaningfully and said, it's just some small tricks that can't be put on the table. Owen Patrick responded lightly. Finally, he stopped panting and stared at Yunfan. Boy, don't use this skeleton warrior. Take my punch. You let me, a magician, take your fist. Are you stupid, or am I stupid? Yunfan said leisurely. The people watching the game couldn't help laughing when they heard the conversation between the two. Churchill's face turned red. Tell me who asked you to be cruel to me? Yunfan said lightly. No one. I just feel very unhappy with you. Churchill's heart thumped for no reason, and then he said with an unnatural expression. It's Rafa. Yunfan tried to ask. How do you know? Churchill was slightly stunned and asked stupidly. Hush. As soon as Churchill's words fell, there was a sigh from the viewing platform. Brother, admit defeat. Yunfan really couldn't bear to bully the honest man in front of him. No, since I promised Rafa that I would deal with you, I must do it. Churchill said innocently. Yunfan shook his head helplessly, raised the magic wand in his right hand, and waved his left hand in the air. Eternal night burial of gods. A black light wave shot towards Churchill. Churchill originally planned to hide to both sides, but when the black light arrived, Churchill found that his retreat had been blocked by 2 skeleton warriors. He had no choice but to use all his fighting spirit to resist. After being attacked by the burial of gods, Churchill was directly knocked out and hit the ground heavily. You lost. Yunfan said lightly. No, I haven't lost yet. Churchill climbed up from the ground tremblingly, clenched his fists and said hoarsely. Yunfan couldn't help but frown slightly when he saw Churchill's appearance. To be honest, Churchill gave him a very special feeling, as if there was a deep obsession in him. You are not my opponent at all. Why are you so persistent? How can you, the children of rich families, know the suffering of us poor people? How much I have paid to get here step by step, you can't know, and what? Ji Yunfan asked curiously, because he felt that the following was the real reason why Churchill targeted him. Churchill didn't continue to talk, but frantically circulated the fighting spirit in his body and punched out with his right fist. The veins of his whole arm bulged, and his speed and strength were increased to the peak. He suddenly punched Ji Yunfan. Ji Yunfan narrowed his eyes slightly, and a ray of divine light appeared in his pupils. Skeleton Warrior number 1 suddenly appeared in front of him. When Churchill punched out, Ji Yunfan controlled number 1 to blast out with a knife, and suddenly crashed into Churchill. After a pop sound, Churchill suddenly let out an ugly scream like a pig being slaughtered. The Skeleton Warrior's knife was too fast, and it chopped heavily on his chest. The right fist, that had just been clenched, was shaking with his right arm. The light in Ji Yunfan's pupils faded, and a faint smile appeared on his face again. You should admit defeat this time. No. Churchill shook his body and wanted to stand up again, but this time he didn't do it. The strange scene of the Skeleton Warrior's appearance completely shocked many spectators. Many people looked at Ji Yunfan with a hint of fear and vigilance. Although many of them felt that they could deal with the Skeleton Warrior, God knew whether Ji Yunfan had any other means. Just a Skeleton Warrior was finished by him like this. If you didn't see it with your own eyes, I'm afraid no one would believe it. The winner of the game is Dante from Alkaline Academy. Ji Yunfan moved his mental power and put the 3 Skeleton Warriors into the small world of the dead, then slowly walked out of the competition field. The people who were close to Ji Yunfan automatically moved away and made way for him. The cheers belonged to the winners, and as a loser, Churchill was no longer in favor at the moment. He was hastily helped down from the competition field by several students who had a good relationship with the Imperial Capital Academy. Churchill, you are really useless. You can't even beat a few small Skeleton Warriors. Rafa said to Churchill unhappily. Master Rafa, I have done what you said, but that guy is too weird. What did you promise me? Churchill looked at Rafa eagerly and said, you are really useless, and you still want to get a bottle of 6th level antidote from me. You really have no self-awareness at all. Rafa looked at Churchill with disgust, then took out a bottle from his space ring and threw it to Churchill, saying, even if you are a waste and useless, I will not treat you unfairly. This is a bottle of 4th level antidote. Master Rafa, you clearly promised me that you would give me a 6th level antidote. How can you go back on your word now? Churchill's face flushed with excitement. I promised you a 6th level antidote, but you didn't do what I told you. Now I give you a bottle of 4th level antidote, and you should be grateful. Rafa glanced at Churchill, then turned and walked away, and never paid any attention to him again. Churchill silently held the bottle of 4th level antidote in his hand. Although the bottle of 4th level antidote in his hand was a drop in the bucket for him to treat his father, it was better than nothing. Churchill dragged his seriously injured body and slowly left the Imperial Capital Academy. Since defeating Churchill, Ji Yunfan has been paying attention to him. I want to see why Churchill is so desperate. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 203, The Poison of the Corrupted Golden Mang. Churchill's departure did not alarm others. Churchill had always been the type who was easy to understand in the Imperial Capital Academy. He spent almost all his time on cultivation or going out on mercenary missions. There were almost no people in the academy who had any intersection with him. If it were not for his sudden rise in the Imperial Capital ranking tournament and his good reputation, I'm afraid that not many people would know of his existence. Ji Yunfan's departure also did not alarm anyone. This kid has a strong ability to recover. He just suffered such a serious injury, but now he is almost fine. Ji Yunfan muttered with some curiosity. This kid's physique may be a bit unusual. I seem to have encountered this feeling somewhere. Sakadin responded. After crossing several streets, Churchill walked into a relatively dilapidated courtyard. It's Churchill back. A staccato voice came from the room. Yes, father, I'm back. I brought you a bottle of 4th level antidote today. I believe it will be able to relieve your poison. Churchill said as he walked into the room. Silly boy, haven't I already told you? Antidotes and the like have no effect on me. As long as you can stay alive and healthy, that's more important than anything else. The voice was still intermittent, but from the words, Yunfan could feel the sincere love the owner of the voice had for the boy. No matter what, I must cure your father, Churchill said firmly. I can't believe I'm a mercenary king, but in the end I have to let my son find medicine, things to prolong my life. This is really ironic. Cough cough. Father, don't talk anymore. You will definitely get better. We will definitely get back what belongs to us. Forget it. I know my physical condition. There is no medicine to cure the poison of the fallen golden mang. He will corrode my fighting spirit little by little. I'm afraid I won't live long if this goes on. The only thing I'm worried about is you. I have let down your mother. I don't want to go to the underworld to see her. I can't speak. Father, you will definitely get better. I will definitely find a way to cure the poison. Listening to the conversation between Churchill and his son, Yunfan felt an inexplicable sadness in his heart and couldn't help but sigh. This is the so-called family affection. Who is here? The intermittent voice suddenly questioned. Yunfan walked in slowly from the door and saw a pale middle-aged man in his 50s lying on the bed next to the young man named Churchill who was fighting with him today. What do you want to do? Churchill looked at Yunfan warily. I'm not doing anything. I just want to see what exactly makes you work so hard. Yunfan said lightly. Churchill, tell me, what's going on? Have you done something wrong again? The pale middle-aged man asked in a low voice. Father, Churchill hesitated when he spoke, and he really didn't know how to tell his father about this matter. His father had always taught him to be an upright person. If his father knew what he did, he might not drink the antidote. Nothing. Churchill and I are friends, and I came here to see you, uncle, Yunfan said, while taking out a few bottles of antidote from the space ring. What do you want to do? Churchill still looked at Yunfan warily. If you want to do something, come to me. Don't make it difficult for my father. Classmate Churchill, didn't I tell you? I just came to see how my uncle is doing, and I don't have any bad intentions. Yunfan spread his hands and said. Churchill, tell me what's going on. The middle-aged man couldn't see that there was something wrong with his son, and it seemed that he was hiding something from him. Churchill gritted his teeth and told the whole story. Churchill, you make me so disappointed. I used to tell you that people should be upright. Cough cough. The middle-aged man said with some excitement. Father, I know I was wrong. I will never dare to do it again in the future. Seeing that his father was angry, Churchill promised hurriedly. Alas, it's all father's fault. If you didn't have a useless father, your talent would have probably reached the level of a 5th level warrior. The middle-aged man sighed, feeling a little depressed. It's not father's fault, it's Churchill's fault. If I could do better. Ahem. Can you tell me what's going on? Although Yunfan admired the father and son very much, he still felt a little fed up listening to their words. My little brother, it's all because of my poor teaching that my boy did something that would harm you. If you want revenge, I will take full responsibility. Classmate Dante, it's all my fault. It has nothing to do with anything nearby. If you want revenge, come to me. Churchill said with his chest puffed out. I didn't say I was going to cause trouble for you. Yunfan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Did he look so bad? So bad? I just want to ask what's going on with the poison in my uncle? The poison in my father's body was framed by those bad guys. Churchill said as he flashed a light of hatred. Those people. Yunfan was very curious about the people Churchill mentioned. Father won't tell me who those bad guys are? Churchill sighed softly, but I know that father is trying to protect me, so I have been practicing hard. Boy, I finally know where that familiar feeling comes from. There is a trace of the blood of the god of war in both of them, although it has been very weak after generations of inheritance. No wonder that guy was poisoned by the fallen golden mang, and can still live until now. Sakadin's voice sounded in Yunfan's heart. God of War? Exclamation mark. Who is it? It is a very powerful god on the divine continent. Although the position of the god has only reached the realm of the upper god, the combat power is catching up with the Lord of Heaven. Sakadin said. I didn't expect their blood to be so powerful. What about the poison of the fallen golden mang? Yunfan asked curiously. The poison of the fallen golden mang specifically corrodes the fighting spirit, which can be said to be the nemesis of warriors. Chapter 204 Special Antidote. Unless you have condensed a godhood, you won't be afraid of this poison. Sakadin, I wonder if you have any way to detoxify this poison. Yunfan asked. To detoxify, you need to prepare a special detoxification potion. This material should not be too difficult to find, but it may be difficult to make a detoxification potion with your ability. Sakadin said uncertainly. It is more difficult. Does it mean that I can make it with my ability? Yunfan asked. Yes, this special detoxification potion belongs to the 4th level top potion. In theory, as long as the mental power reaches the 4th level, it is possible to refine it. However, because the refining process is very complicated, even an alchemist with a mental power of the 6th level may not be able to refine it. Sakadin said somewhat embarrassedly. Of course, I was not sure that I could refine it when I was at the 6th level. Just because you can't refine it doesn't mean I can't refine it. Pass the formula of the detoxification potion to me. Yunfan said confidently. Although you are a genius, you may not be able to refine it. Sakadin said uncertainly. Forget it. You can't be treated as a normal person. Maybe I can cure the poison in Uncle's body. Yunfan suddenly said. How can you cure it? The whole continent knows that there is no medicine to cure the poison of the fallen golden mang. Churchill said in disbelief. Since you know that there is no medicine to cure this poison, why don't you give up? Yunfan said lightly. Churchill didn't know how to answer for a while. I said I have a formula for the detoxification potion here. I don't know if you believe me. Churchill looked at Yunfan blankly and didn't know how to answer for a while. He subconsciously wanted to believe that what Yunfan said was true, but he felt that this was impossible. If you don't believe it, why do those useless things? Yunfan smiled and shook his head. To be honest, if I hadn't seen how filial you are, I would never help you. Are you telling the truth? Is there really an antidote to the poison of the fallen golden mang? Churchill asked anxiously. If you can really cure my father's poison, Churchill, I'm willing to work like a slave for you. Everything in the world is interdependent. There is no poison that is completely unsolvable. Those so-called incurable poisons are simply because the formula has not been found. I didn't expect that the young brother would have such deep insights. The pale middle-aged man's eyes suddenly lit up. Could it be that the young brother is also a pharmacist? I don't dare to be a pharmacist. I just know a little about pharmacology and can prepare some simple medicines. Yunfan said lightly. If being able to prepare the antidote for the poison of the fallen golden mang only requires a little knowledge of pharmacology, then there may not be any pharmacists in this world. The pale middle-aged man said slowly. If you can remove the poison in my body, O'Neil Leonard, will follow you forever. Yunfan still admired Churchill and his son very much. From the conversation between the father and son, Yunfan knew that both of them had bottom lines. If they followed him, they would never betray him. If you can remove the poison in my father's body, Churchill, will follow you forever. Churchill said seriously. Okay, let's not talk about this for now. Let me diagnose my uncle first and see what his physical condition is like. Yunfan could not deny what the two said. He slowly walked to the bed and stretched out his index and middle fingers to pinch O'Neil Leonard's pulse. What are you doing? Churchill looked at what Yunfan did, somewhat puzzled. He had never seen a pharmacist use this method to check the condition of a person. This is a unique skill of my family. Yunfan responded casually. What a domineering poison. It has been corroding Uncle's heart veins. If it continues like this, I'm afraid that in less than a month, Uncle's life will be in danger. I'm afraid that he can live until now, because of the strong fighting spirit of Uncle. Yunfan couldn't help but take a breath. What? Father has 1 month to live. Churchill's face turned red. He couldn't believe it was true. It's about the same as I expected. O'Neill Leonard sighed softly. Father, you actually knew that you couldn't hold on for much longer, but why didn't you tell me? Churchill's eyes turned red, like a wounded little beast. Telling you, what can it do? It's just making you sadder. O'Neill Leonard said in a low voice. If it weren't for my little brother telling you about it, I would have secretly left in 2 days and found a place where no one knows me and lived out the rest of my life. Father, how could you do this? Churchill said excitedly. He couldn't accept the fact that his father could live for another month. Churchill suddenly turned around and knelt in front of Yunfan. Please save my father. Don't worry, I will definitely do what I promised you. Yunfan helped Churchill up and responded. At this time, the formula of the detoxification potion had also been transmitted to Yunfan's mind by Sakadin. Yunfan checked the potion formula and found that most of the drugs in the current potion formula were in Yunfan's space ring, but there was a herb called snake spirit grass missing, and snake spirit grass was the most important part of the potion formula. The lack of other drugs could be replaced by other drugs, but only snake spirit grass was indispensable. Yunfan frowned involuntarily when he found that the snake spirit grass could not be replaced. What's the matter? Don't you have a way to detoxify your father? Churchill asked nervously. I have the formula for the detoxification potion, but I just lack the most important medicine. Yunfan sighed. I wonder what the medicine you are talking about is. Churchill asked anxiously. Snake spirit grass. Snake spirit grass? I wonder what snake spirit grass looks like. Snake spirit grass gets its name because it looks like a snake. It is most often found in forests, where snakes often appear. Yunfan said. I seem to have seen the thing you are talking about. Churchill frowned and thought. Chapter 205 Encounter. You said you had seen the snake spirit grass. Where was it? Yunfan asked hurriedly. It was in the Imperial Capital Forest. I saw it when I was doing a mercenary mission. I didn't know it was actually the snake spirit grass at the time. If I had known, I would have stepped on it. In that case, why don't you take me to see it? Yunfan said. There is only one game today anyway. Great, I'll take you there right away. Churchill said excitedly. Imperial Capital Forest. Churchill quickly took Yunfan to the place where the snake spirit grass was originally found, but the two did not find the existence of the snake spirit grass. It seemed that someone else had taken it away first. Damn, how could this happen? What should we do? Since there is snake spirit grass nearby, it is expected that there should be other places. Why not take a good look around? Maybe we can find a few plants. In that case, let's go around and take a look. As he said that, he took Yunfan to check the surroundings in a hurry. In the blink of an eye, more than half an hour passed, but the two still found nothing. Are you sure you've seen the snake spirit grass here? Yunfan asked with some doubt. You know, we haven't encountered a single snake-shaped monster here. There were a lot of snake-shaped monsters when I came here last time. If that's the case, it's too strange. No, have you noticed that we didn't encounter any monsters in the Imperial Capital Forest? Not even any wild beasts. Could it be that something unexpected has happened here? No matter what has happened, I must find the snake spirit grass. Churchill said firmly. The two walked and walked, and they didn't know how long they had walked. Several snake-shaped plants appeared in front of them. The two were delighted to see the snakes. Master, is this the snake spirit grass you mentioned? Churchill asked nervously. From the shape, it is indeed so. If you want to determine whether it is, you have to study it carefully. Yunfan said. At this time, Yunfan and the others suddenly heard a rustling sound of footsteps. Who? I didn't expect someone to appear here. I really don't know if you are lucky or not. A man in black seemed to be gloating and said. It's actually someone from the Bone Cult and the Calamity Church. Yunfan's eyes flashed with a hint of vigilance. I didn't expect someone to know us. One of the black-clothed men said in surprise. Little guy, you have some vision. Bone Cult. Hearing Yunfan say the word Bone Cult, Churchill's eyes flashed with hatred, and then repeated the two words with gritted teeth. It seems that this kid has a grudge against your Bone Cult. The black-clothed man of the Calamity Church said jokingly to the black-clothed man of the Bone Cult around him. No matter whether he has a grudge against us or not, since he appeared here, we will never let him go. The black-clothed man of the bone cult said in a gloomy tone. Churchill, do you have a grudge against the people of the bone cult? It was the first time that Yunfan saw Churchill's expression like this. The poison of the fallen golden man is unique to the bone cult. The poison in my father's body is inseparable from them. Churchill glared at them fiercely. Oh, this little guy's father should be a big shot. The poison of the fallen golden man is only equipped to the bishop level. The black-clothed man of the bone cult narrowed his eyes slightly and said curiously, tell me who your father is? You deserve to die. Churchill's eyes turned red. You want us to die, but I'm afraid you don't have the strength to do so. The black-clothed man of the bone cult came to Churchill's side like a cannonball. Die. A strange black air blade was drawn from the hand of the black-clothed man of the bone cult. Be careful. As soon as Yunfan finished speaking, the strange black air blade flashed slightly, and it suddenly expanded a large circle, bursting out a compelling cold light, and rushed straight to Churchill. The speed was so fast and the momentum was so strong, that Churchill and others changed their faces. The strange aura enveloped the surroundings, which was shocking. Churchill was not slow, and reacted quickly. The blade in his hand was hurriedly raised, barely blocking the strange black air blade, but even so, Churchill was still hit by the powerful force, and flew 4 or 5 meters away. Yunfan did not dare to neglect it at this moment. His mental power instantly communicated with the small world of the dead. 11 skeleton warriors specially transformed by Yunfan appeared in front of him, and protected him and Churchill. What a weird skeleton warrior, you should be banned from Alkaline College. I didn't expect you to know me. Yunfan was also surprised at this moment. If someone who can transform the lowest level skeleton warriors to not fear the power of light is not a talent, what kind of talent is it? Said the black-clothed man of the Scourge Association. As the organization that most commonly uses the tactics of the Sea of Undead on the entire continent, the Scourge Church is the most authoritative organization in undead magic. They have always been committed to studying how the undead warriors are no longer afraid of the power of light, but Yunfan's skeleton warriors have given them hope, so their attention to Yunfan has never stopped. Although your skeleton warrior is very strange and barely has the combat power of the 4th level, it is not a true 4th level professional. In front of me, a 6th level warrior, it is absolutely vulnerable. Eternal night descending. You kid has been favored by many big shots. I want to see what you are capable of today. Looking at Yunfan who had disappeared in the black fog, the black-clothed man of the bone cult also made a move. A ball of black flame bloomed in his hand, and the flame spread towards the black fog like a living thing. Fusion magic. This is the hellfire that combines the power of the dark element and the fire element. This flame is enough to burn the dark element. You must be more careful. Sakurdin suddenly reminded. High-level fusion magic. Yunfan was a little wary. The strength of these two guys has reached the peak of the 6th level. The possibility of you defeating them is almost zero, so I suggest you run away as soon as possible. Eternal Night Sword of the Son of Heaven explosion. Yunfan quickly came to Churchill's side, carried Churchill on his shoulders, and ran quickly in the direction they came from. When the Sword of the Son of Heaven exploded, the powerful force released pushed the two men in black far away. The two men in black did not expect Yunfan to be so cunning and decisive, and did not fight them head on. Brother, what do you think we should do? Should we chase or not? One of the men in black said palely. Chapter 206, Refining Antidote. Damn it, I clearly met a member of the bone cult, but I can only escape in such a miserable way. To be honest, nothing good will happen to anyone who meets the bone cult. I don't know what they are planning. Yunfan muttered to himself, and looking at the snake spirit grass he had collected, Yunfan breathed a sigh of relief. At least the purpose of this trip has been achieved. When did you collect the snake spirit grass? Churchill looked at Yunfan in disbelief. Just when I carried you on my shoulders, there were a few of them right next to you. Yunfan said calmly. Churchill took a deep breath, and then said to Yunfan solemnly, thank you, I was impulsive just now. It's not your fault. It's difficult for anyone to calm down when they meet their enemies. There will always be a chance for revenge in the future. Yunfan persuaded. Okay, let's leave now. The strength of those two guys is unfathomable. If they hadn't underestimated the enemy, I think it would be very difficult to take you away. Churchill nodded silently, because he knew that what Ji Yunfan said was true. Ji Yunfan brought Churchill to the small courtyard, given to him by the emperor of the imperial capital. Ji Yunfan pointed to a room in the courtyard and said, "Wait in the living room for a while. I'll go and prepare the antidote." "Can we prepare the antidote now?" "Yes, I have all the other materials for preparing the antidote," Ji Yunfan said as he walked towards the small laboratory in the courtyard. "Ji Yunfan, you are really going to make this special antidote?" Sakadin shook his head slightly, as if he was not optimistic about Ji Yunfan. Ji Yunfan smiled faintly, said nothing, but sat cross-legged on the ground. His brain was running fast like a computer, simulating the process of making the antidote again and again. The first time failed. The second time failed. It was not until the sixth simulation that he got a successful result. Then he simulated it several times in his mind, and these times all ended in success. Ji Yunfan opened his eyes and stood up from the ground. "How about it? Are you not sure?" Sakadin shook his head. Looking back, looking at Sakadin who had appeared at some point, Ji Yunfan took out the materials for making it from the space ring. Since Ji Yunfan had made a breakthrough, after breaking through the 5th level, Sakadin could appear in the world in the form of a soul. "No way. Are you really going to make it? You know, the ordinary 4th level detoxification potion is divided into 36 steps, and the special detoxification potion you are going to make has 265 steps, which is not even comparable to the 6th level potion." Sakadin said again, "I have got the things. How can I give up?" Ji Yunfan smiled confidently. "You kid really won't give up until you hit the south wall. Forget it. I don't care about you." Sakadin curled his lips and returned to Ji Yunfan's sea of consciousness. "Look at you. You used to be a god, but you don't even have the confidence to make a 6th level detoxification potion. It's really embarrassing." Ji Yunfan shook his head slightly. "You kid, you'll die if you don't squeeze me." The relationship between Sakadin and Ji Yunfan is very delicate. Rather than saying it's a master-servant relationship, based on a master-servant contract, it's more appropriate to say they're friends. In the quiet room, Ji Yunfan picked up the cordyceps with his left hand, narrowed his eyes slightly, and after a moment, he gently controlled the flame on the candlestick with his mental power, and some blue flames suddenly rose. The moment the flames rose, the temperature in the room rose a lot. "This kid is simply a monster." Sakadin stared at the blue flame in Ji Yunfan's sea of consciousness without blinking. He was a little shocked. Although he was a pharmacist himself, and the formula was given to Ji Yunfan by him, and he knew the process of refining medicine by the pharmacist, even when he was at the 6th level, he couldn't be so proficient. Ji Yunfan seemed to be unaware of how shocking his words were. His face was calm. The dark blue flame in his hand changed slightly under the control of his mental power, swallowing the cordyceps sinensis. The flames were surging, and the cordyceps sinensis was almost instantly transformed into a small ball of green liquid, which was held in the air by his mental power. He grabbed a few dragon snake golden grasses with his right hand, and threw them directly into the flames. After the addition of the dragon snake golden grasses, the originally green liquid gradually turned into gold, and it became much larger. Ji Yunfan took out a glass container, and injected the liquid into the glass container with the help of his mental power. The liquid that had been transformed into gold kept wriggling in the flames, and the hot temperature kept burning the impurities in it. As the flame burned, the golden liquid became smaller and smaller. After half an hour, it was only the size of a thumb. Then he put the glass container aside. Next, Ji Yunfan threw the snake spirit grass into the flames again, and after burning them, he put them into a brand new glass container. Next, it was the heart blocking grass and the wood attribute magic core. The first 100 steps lasted for about an hour, and Ji Yunfan's face was already a little pale. This kid didn't make any mistakes in more than 100 steps. It's incredible. Sakadin said in amazement, but his mental power has indeed consumed a lot, and he should not be able to complete all the steps. An hour later, Ji Yunfan began to burn a piece of extremely hard magic crystal. Time passed by minute, and even Ji Yunfan felt very tired. His mental power was now highly concentrated, and every step was done meticulously. He didn't want to make any mistakes in any step, otherwise all his previous efforts would fail. The extremely hard magic crystal was deformed, like plasticine, and it seemed that it could change its shape with a slight pinch. Slowly, the extremely hard magic crystal was forged into a ball of light blue liquid. Magic crystal is a very special ore. The magic crystal contains rich and violent energy. This energy is usually difficult to absorb, but it is indeed a very good alchemical material. Yunfan slowly purified various materials and put them into glass bottles for future use. Sure enough, refining medicine in your brain is different from refining medicine in person. Yunfan showed a bitter smile on his face. In real life, it is inevitable that there will be a waste of mental power. As the materials are used up, Yunfan's mental power is getting weaker and weaker. As for whether he can refine the antidote, Yunfan is not too sure. Chapter 207 Simplified Steps. With the huge consumption of mental power, Yunfan's control over the flame became more and more unstable, and there were even signs of the flame rioting several times. I've already told you, don't be stubborn. I'm afraid that you won't be able to make the antidote this time, and your mental power will be greatly damaged. Sakuden said with some concern. How could this happen? How could this happen? We must find a way to reduce the consumption of mental power, otherwise we really can't complete the next steps. Yunfan also felt deeply helpless. Step calculation. Yunfan controlled his brain to work quickly and simulated the next steps again. He must do everything he can to simplify the next steps. I think you should stop. Although you did every step perfectly, your current mental power is not enough to support the remaining steps. If you can't complete the remaining steps, I will simplify the remaining steps. Yunfan said fiercely. Are you kidding me? Simplifying the steps is something that can be done in a few days. Even a god-level pharmacist has to try again and again. Try again and again. I don't have the time now, but it doesn't matter to me. Yunfan followed the process of refining the potion, while simulating it in his mind, looking for ways to simplify the steps. Step 180 can be simplified. Steps 181 and 182 can be combined into one step. Step 184 can precede step 183, and then steps 183 and 185 can be combined into one step. Step 200. After simplifying the steps, my current mental strength is enough to successfully refine the potion. Hey, your refining process is different from what I told you. Did you make a mistake? Sakuden noticed the difference in Yunfan's refining process and couldn't help but remind him. Yunfan's mental power was highly concentrated at this moment. Although he had simulated the simplification process, it required a higher level of mental power. If he was not careful, all his efforts would be wasted. So he did not answer Sakuden's words. No, if the steps were wrong, it would have failed. Damn, you kid are not serious. You can simplify the process steps. How is this possible? Sakuden's tone was full of disbelief. How did this kid do it? Every step is so familiar, as if he has done it many times. The 245th step is over. This special antidote was actually made by me. Looking at the bottle of potion with a drop of emerald colored liquid suspended in the palm of his hand, Yunfan was a little bit unbelievable. He rubbed his hands, and his extraordinary soul perception allowed him to clearly sense the energy of this liquid. The dark blue flame gradually faded, and finally disappeared completely. You have created a miracle. Let me see if this is the antidote. Sakuden floated out of Yunfan's sea of consciousness and blinked, impatient. I have spent so much effort, how could it not be the antidote? Then take a look. Yunfan said as he handed the antidote to Sakuden. Sakuden carefully examined it, and after a while he said in disbelief, I didn't expect you to be able to do it, and the purity of this antidote is very high. As long as you have 3 such antidote, the poison in Anil Leonard can be completely removed. It's great that it succeeded. Yunfan raised the corner of his mouth slightly, and then he felt his mind go dark and fainted. Sakuden was shocked when he saw Yunfan's appearance, and then he hurriedly checked his physical condition. Seeing that he was not seriously ill, he breathed a sigh of relief and said with a bitter smile, this kid's mental strength has obviously been exhausted to the extreme, but he is still pretending to show off to me. When Yunfan woke up, it was already the next morning. Touching his headache head, Yunfan also smiled bitterly. I didn't expect that refining such a potion would make me so exhausted. It's true that some pretense can't be pretended. Yunfan stretched and slowly stood up from the ground. Fuck, you kid turned out to be a blessing in disguise. At this time, Sakura's surprised voice sounded in Yunfan's mind. What do you mean by a blessing in disguise? Are you secretly laughing at me for overestimating my own abilities? Yunfan said unhappily. You kids still don't admit it. Feel your own mental power. What? Yunfan was slightly stunned, but he still closed his eyes and felt his mental power according to what Sakura said. My mental power is almost exhausted. It is estimated that it is very difficult to release a 4th level magic. I'm afraid that today's game will be a bit difficult. Didn't you notice it? Your mental power has broken through. You mean? Yunfan closed his eyes again and felt his mental power. My mental power has broken through 10,000 degrees and reached the standard of a 5th level magician. Not bad, not bad. This time it is really a blessing in disguise. Yunfan pushed open the door and walked out of the door. He found Churchill standing in the yard waiting anxiously. Hearing the sound of the door opening, he hurried over. He saw that his eyes were bloodshot and asked nervously, Master, has the antidote been successfully refined? Well, this is it. Yunfan said, while taking out the antidote and handing it to Churchill. Is this the medicine that can cure the poison in my father's body? Churchill took the medicine from Yunfan's hand tremblingly. Until now, he still couldn't believe that all this was true. This is a medicine that cures the poison in your father's body, but it is impossible to cure all the poison in your father's body with just this bottle. Yunfan said, after the college qualifying competition is over, I will prepare 2 more bottles, and the poison in his body should be completely eliminated. Really? If it is really like what you said, my life will be yours in the future. Churchill said firmly. Okay, let's quickly give the antidote to my uncle to take. I still have to participate in today's qualifying competition. Yunfan said. Yes, let's go quickly. Churchill walked out of the courtyard door in a hurry. This kid is also a pure heart. As long as he is determined to follow you, he will never betray you. Sakura said lightly. Chapter 208 Wide Broad. So I have a very good subordinate. Not just one, but 2. And Churchill's father, O'Neill Leonard, is definitely an extraordinary person. Just as Sakura expected, after taking the antidote, O'Neill Leonard eliminated 1/3 of the toxins in his body. His health improved significantly. He was no longer as sick as he was at the beginning, and even had a certain ability to protect himself. The college ranking competition was approaching, and Yunfan's mental recovery was still far from complete, so he had to hastily take a bottle of high-level mental recovery potion. Fortunately, I'm a magic and martial arts double cultivator. Otherwise, if I relied on magic alone, the possibility of winning today would not be too great. According to the regulations of the college, if the professional level reaches the 5th level, you can apply for graduation in advance. I have also read most of the books in the library. After the ranking competition is over, I will apply for graduation and then go to my fiefdom to become a baron. Yunfan walked towards the direction of the Imperial Capital College, thinking secretly in his heart. Because he left early yesterday, Yunfan didn't know how many people from the academy had passed the first round. After arriving at the Imperial Capital Academy, he learned from others that, apart from him, only the first place in the ranking battle of Alcoran Academy, the 4th level Wind Mage Abel Carry, and the second place, the 4th level Flame Fighter Smedley Peppers, had won. After the first round of competition, 6 contestants from the Imperial Capital Academy, 6 students from the Holy Academy, and 5 students from the Sith Magic and Martial Arts Academy. Only Alcoran Academy had the lowest number of qualified. Vice Dino in Patrick's face was not very good. Patrick, I'm afraid your academy's ranking will remain in the original position this time. Who knows what the outcome will be before the end. Maybe a dark horse will appear in their academy. Old Doberman, do you think it's so easy for a genius student to appear? The competition of 20 to 10 started soon. After the first round of battles, the remaining 20 people were all relatively masters. In the second stage of the competition object was decided by drawing lots. Ji Yunfan's opponent in the second stage is a 4th level paladin from the Holy Academy. Patrick, the dark horse in your school, doesn't seem to have much luck. It will be very difficult for a dark magician to fight against a paladin of the same level. Hearing this, Patrick's face changed slightly because he knew very well that what Abi said was right. The paladin is an extended profession of the warrior with extraordinary dark resistance and can be said to be the natural enemy of the dark magician. It is better to be safe than sorry. Know yourself and the enemy, and you will never be in danger in 100 battles. Although Ji Yunfan has broken through to the 5th level, he will not look down on any opponent. He watched every game carefully and memorized the skills of all the students participating in the game one by one in his mind to analyze the areas in which these students are good at. There is an old saying on the earth called when 3 people walk together, there must be one who can be my teacher. Ji Yunfan did not think he was better than everyone else. He analyzed every game, trying to find the best way to fight against each student. Although the game is changing rapidly, I will remain unchanged in the face of change. The 3rd game was quickly completed, and it was finally Ji Yunfan's turn to play. Ji Yunfan had just walked onto the field when he saw the handsome paladin on the opposite side, looking up proudly and saying, "You are from Alkaline Academy, right? I think you'd better surrender obediently. A dark mage, like you can never defeat a paladin of the same level. Really? You look very confident." Ji Yunfan smiled calmly. "This is not confidence, I'm just stating a fact. I didn't expect that I would win the second game for nothing." Ji Yunfan shook his head slightly and summoned 3 skeleton warriors that he had transformed from the small world of the undead with his mental power. "It seems that you are not ready to admit defeat. Do you think that these 3 weird skeleton warriors in front of you can bring you a turnaround?" The paladin smiled contemptuously. "Under my holy light, your skeleton warriors will turn into ashes in an instant. By the way, remember my name. I'm Whitebroad." "Holy light." Whitebroad groaned softly and then raised the long sword in his hand. A white light, like the moonlight in the sky, and like the dazzling starlight, shot from his long sword to the skeleton warrior with the hope and light of life. Originally, everyone thought that Ji Yunfan's skeleton warrior would be annihilated in the holy light in an instant, but what was beyond everyone's expectation was that, after being hit by the holy light, the skeleton warrior stood still. Whitebroad's originally confident face suddenly showed an incredible expression. "This is impossible." On the viewing platform, Levi Xavier, the vice president of the Holy Academy, also couldn't help but stand up. In everyone's cognition, the undead magic has always been restrained by the power of light. If all the skeleton warriors are no longer afraid of light magic, then Levi Xavier, the vice president of the Holy Academy, changed his expression again and again. "Xavier, I think you are overthinking it, old man. Don't you find this skeleton warrior special? If you want to make him not afraid of light magic, the price you have to pay is probably not small, and you need to have a deep study of alchemy. Since the holy light has no effect on them, let me try them myself." Whitebroad's eyes flashed with coldness. "Holy light slash." Ha. The gorgeous longsword drew a strange arc in the air and slapped a skeleton warrior horizontally. The skeleton warrior flew out and retreated 2 meters away. Swish. Then the gorgeous longsword gently touched the alloy sword of another skeleton warrior. Whitebroad raised his hand first, then twisted the longsword, and the alloy sword of the skeleton warrior deviated uncontrollably. Whitebroad then thrust the tip of the sword directly into the chest of the skeleton warrior, and the second skeleton warrior also flew back. The students of the Holy Light Academy were all very excited, and they talked among themselves. In their opinion, Ji Yunfan had no other means to threaten Whitebroad, except to summon the weird skeleton warriors. "Since 3 skeleton warriors can't defeat you, I will summon 7. Ji Yunfan was determined to use the skeleton seed tactics to get rid of the guy in front of him. Ji Yunfan moved his mental power, and 7 transformed skeleton warriors appeared beside him. Chapter 209, Disciple of the Saint. Seeing this scene, Whitebroad's face turned very ugly. He never thought that Ji Yunfan had a skeleton warrior in his hand. He was very frustrated in this game. "If you have the guts, fight me with real swords and guns." Whitebroad ordered Ji Yunfan to express his dissatisfaction. "Please, brother, I'm a mage. You let a mage fight with you, a paladin, with real swords and guns? Yunfan shrugged his shoulders and yawned absent-mindedly. This kid is simply infuriating. This kind of fighting style is too shameless. Being shameless is also a skill. If you are a shadow mage, and you are asked to fight a paladin, what should you do? Anyway, if I meet this guy, I will surrender directly. The students watching the game discussed one by one. Yunfan's careless expression has completely angered Wyatt Broad. As a proud child of heaven, he felt that Yunfan looked down on him. How could he know that this was because Yunfan had consumed too much mental energy to refine the antidote yesterday, causing him to be listless now? Aeration. Feeling the fierce energy coming, Yunfan raised his eyebrows slightly, but his eyes were once again focused on the boy opposite. At the same time, Amy and others who were watching the game also raised their heads and looked at Yunfan in the field, frowning, revealing hidden worries in their eyes. However, Yunfan did not see this. Yunfan blinked indifferently, and a skeleton warrior in front of him suddenly stepped forward a small step, but directly blocked Wyatt Broad's way. While the foot was moving, the skeleton warrior had already raised its alloy sword high, emitting a faint grey light, like a warrior, threw the sword and finally fell on Wyatt Broad's chest. Wyatt Broad's originally ferocious face showed an incredible expression. He never thought that he would be hit by a skeleton warrior and lie on the ground several meters away. Why is that skeleton warrior so strange? I seem to feel the fluctuation of fighting spirit in him. Is this possible? You also feel the fluctuation of fighting spirit in him? I thought I was wrong. Several Weisstein level figures in the stands actually discussed this. At their level, there are really not many things that can interest them. You lose now. Looking at the alloy sword on his neck, Wyatt Broad looked a little lonely. I didn't expect that I would lose like this. Yunfan shook his head slightly. For the students who came out of the ivory tower, Yunfan didn't think they would pose much threat to him. In the 22-10 competition, except for Yunfan, Alkaline Academy has been annihilated. This made Weisstein Patrick look very ugly. Although he was very unwilling, he was somewhat helpless. In the next few days of competition, Yunfan has been using the skeleton seed tactics to develop in a wretched manner, and every time he exhausted his opponent to win, Yunfan's title of the Emperor of Dirty Things spread like wildfire, and almost everyone was unwilling to fight him head on. However, even Weisstein Patrick did not expect that Yunfan could survive to the end with his dirty tricks. Even the Weissteins of other colleges looked at Yunfan with strange eyes. Patrick, who do you think will win this final battle? You ask me how I know? You know, Crofts-Felton is a disciple of the Wind Saint, and the 5th level against the 4th level, there should be no doubt. But this guy. Patrick shook his head. The one who was competing with Yunfan for the first place in the ranking battle was Crofts-Felton, the 5th level wind swordsman who ranked first in the Imperial Capital College. On the field, Yunfan looked at Crofts-Felton cautiously, because he was the only student among the many students who could give him a sense of oppression. He had watched Crofts-Felton's games a few days ago, but Yunfan believed that Crofts-Felton's true strength had never been revealed. Yunfan summoned more than 10 skeleton warriors with his mental power. I have seen your previous battles. Although your skeleton warriors are very strange, they have fatal weaknesses. I think you should show your true means. Crofts-Felton made a sword flower with the long sword in his hand and said, to be honest, I didn't expect to meet any good opponents in this ranking battle. It depends on how far you can push me. Although Yunfan looked very calm on the surface, he already held a magic wand in his left hand and a short sword in his right hand. Crofts-Felton narrowed his eyes slightly and looked at Yunfan up and down. Melee magician, or just for self-defense? I can't tell you that. Yunfan smiled slightly. In that case, let me reveal this secret myself. Crofts-Felton activated the raging wind fighting spirit in his body and suddenly jumped forward, like a cannonball, towards Yunfan. The wild wind fight is the unique skill of the wild wind saint. Whether it is strength or speed, it is completely incomparable to ordinary fighting spirit. The spectators could even see the afterimage of Crofts-Felton left in the original place. It's too fast. Crofts-Felton had already passed Yunfan's skeleton warrior at this moment. Ji Yunfan only felt his eyes blurred and saw that Croft's sword was directly in front of his chest. After a shock in his heart, his fighting spirit was running rapidly, and he suddenly twisted his body and began to dodge to the side. With a rip, the clothes on Ji Yunfan's chest were directly cut by Croft's. Ji Yunfan felt a chill on his chest and then saw the flying clothes. At this moment, a few beads of sweat appeared on his forehead. The scene just now was too dangerous. At the same time, he couldn't help but feel fortunate that he dodged in time. This Croft's is not at the same level as other opponents Ji Yunfan encountered in the game. Ji Yunfan felt unprecedented pressure. He knew that his skeleton warriors alone could never defeat the man in front of him. The violent attack came in an instant. Ji Yunfan quickly raised the short blade in his hand. A huge force suddenly hit him. Ji Yunfan's body involuntarily retreated. Feeling the powerful force coming from his right hand, Ji Yunfan became more serious than ever. This kid actually blocked Croft's attack with a short blade. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 210 Victory. Croft's probably didn't try his best. Even for an ordinary 4th order warrior, it would be very difficult to block his attack, not to mention that Dante is just a magician. Do you think a magician can match Dante's speed? You mean this kid is practicing both magic and martial arts? Patrick, what do you think of this kid? I don't know. You are the vice president of this kid, and you don't even know. He looked up suddenly and found that Croft's had slashed out a sword, which was still in the air at this time and had not been retracted. He was looking at him with a playful face and said, "Dante, I didn't expect you to hide so deeply. Let's see if you can let me have a good time this time." Croft's slashed out a sword just now and condensed the fighting spirit. However, although Croft's used the fighting spirit in the attack, he only retracted it and did not release it. He only used the fighting spirit to increase his physical strength and attack power, and did not use the fighting spirit to directly penetrate Ji Yunfan's body. Even so, Ji Yunfan's body had to endure the impact of the fierce force, and Ji Yunfan also felt a little overwhelmed. "As you wish." Ji Yunfan nodded and frowned, enduring the numbness of his right hand, and said lightly. Croft's looked at Ji Yunfan in surprise, then smiled and said interesting, and his body suddenly moved again, and in an instant he was in front of Ji Yunfan, and the lightning-like sword slashed out again fiercely. At this time, Ji Yunfan's short sword caught another sword, and he knew very well in his heart that Croft's attack speed and power seemed to force him to use some real skills. However, Ji Yunfan was not afraid at all, and he was vaguely looking forward to and excited. The fighting spirit in his body instantly lingered in his right hand, and Ji Yunfan suddenly felt that the pain in his arm was weakened a little. The whole person concentrated his attention as never before, and calmly faced Croft's attack from behind. Fighting key fluctuations. Just as Croft's sword was about to strike, Ji Yunfan had already exerted force on his feet and suddenly retreated backwards, dodging Croft's sword like lightning. But Croft's was not surprised at all, and his body did not pause at all. After slashing the air with his sword, the sword turned and caught up with Ji Yunfan's retreating body in an instant, and slashed out with another sword like flowing water. Although Croft's had only reached the 5th level not long ago, he had exerted his fighting ki to the extreme. With the special properties of fighting ki, his physical strength and attack power were extraordinary, and all aspects of his functions completely surpassed those of ordinary 5th level warriors. Even with Ji Yunfan's current flexible body, he was still inevitably hit. As his body was hit repeatedly, Ji Yunfan's pain became more and more severe, and his speed of dodging was also affected by his body and began to slow down. If it weren't for the fact that Ji Yunfan had been constantly forging his body with Dao Ki during this period, according to his originally weak magician body, he would not have been able to withstand Croft's stormy attack, and would have been defeated directly. In the qualifying round, Ji Yunfan did encounter swordsmen, but he did not suffer too much injury, which made Ji Yunfan slightly underestimate these warrior swordsmen. But now that he was suppressed by Felton, Ji Yunfan really understood that his previous thoughts were completely wrong. This guy must have really been on the battlefield. Eternal night descending. The entire competition field was instantly filled with dark fog with Ji Yunfan as the center. Eternal night ghost. Ji Yunfan's figure slowly disappeared in the black fog. In fact, Ji Yunfan could completely suppress Felton with absolute strength, but he did not do so. He did not want to expose all his cards now. With the disappearance of Ji Yunfan, Felton felt that he was completely in a passive position. The 10 skeleton warriors were already coming towards him. Although he could rely on his speed to avoid a head-on confrontation with these skeleton warriors, it would consume a lot of his fighting spirit after a while, and there was a Ji Yunfan in the dark who was almost as strong as him. Time passed by minute, and the spectators became a little impatient. Felton's speed gradually slowed down, and he was even cut by the skeleton warriors several times. Ji Yunfan was hiding in the darkness like a loach, coming out to harass from time to time. Felton really understood why those who had fought with Ji Yunfan didn't want to fight him anymore. This kind of battle was simply a torture for him. I give up. Felton gritted his teeth. So the people watching the battle were silent. Ji Yunfan's fighting style seemed to open a new door for them. Almost everyone watching the game agreed that they should never go against Ji Yunfan because his fighting style was too despicable. In this college qualifying competition, because of Ji Yunfan's efforts to turn the tide, Alkalan College ranked 3rd, which was the second to last. Although Owen Patrick was still very unwilling to accept this result, he could barely accept it. Because of Ji Yunfan's outstanding performance, the college gave him a chance to enter the advanced treasure house to select treasures in order to reward him. Ji Yunfan chose a 7th level advanced shadow dagger in the advanced treasure house. Have you thought about it? Do you really want to apply for graduation in advance? Teacher Annie adjusted her glasses and looked at Ji Yunfan without blinking. Yes, Teacher Annie, I have thought about it. I have basically learned everything I can learn in the college, and I need to walk the future path myself. Ji Yunfan looked at the beautiful woman in front of him and said seriously, to be honest, I never thought that a slave servant in the academy could step by step to this point. Teacher Annie said with emotion, no matter what, you are my student, and I hope you can go further on the road of magic. Don't worry, Teacher Annie, I will definitely be your pride, Ji Yunfan said firmly. During the days of handling graduation procedures, Ji Yunfan once again refined 2 bottles of antidote potion, which completely removed the poison from O'Neil Leonard's body. O'Neil Leonard's strength also recovered to the elementary state of the 8th level. It will take some time to fully recover, but he is considered a master in the entire continent if he does not go out of the saint level. Chapter 211, West Coast Gromtown. Before leaving, Ji Yunfan sold his grocery store. The West Coast Gromtown is more like a village than a town. There are only about 200 households in the entire West Coast Gromtown. Excuse me, old man, is this really the West Coast Gromtown? Ji Yunfan came to an old man not far away and asked, young man, this is indeed the West Coast Gromtown. If it is a town, why is it so dilapidated? It looks worse than a village. Ji Yunfan continued to ask. The West Coast Gromtown was not like this before, but it has become like this since a group of bandits came here 5 years ago and killed the Baron in the town. The old man sighed deeply. 2 years ago, the Empire sent another Baron, but that Baron was also killed. I didn't expect it to be like this. Ji Yunfan couldn't help shaking his head as he looked at the dilapidated town. I don't know who you are, little brother, and why did you come here? The old man was a little curious about Ji Yunfan's identity. I'm the Baron sent by the Empire. From now on, this small town of Grom on the west coast is my fiefdom. Ji Yunfan said. What? I didn't expect it to be the Baron. Please forgive my impoliteness. The old man hurriedly saluted Ji Yunfan. Old man, there is no need to be so polite. Just call me kid, like you did just now. Ji Yunfan smiled and said calmly. How can this be? Old man, can you tell me about this group of bandits? Ji Yunfan was still very interested in the bandits that made this town ruined. You know, this group of bandits may come again at any time. Only by understanding their situation can we prevent it before it happens. It is said that there are more than 500 bandits in this group. The leader of this group of bandits is a 5th level warrior named Cole Clough Arthur. Under him are 2 deputy leaders, each of whom has the strength of the 4th level. I didn't expect this group of bandits to have so many people. No wonder they were able to kill the Baron in the town. Yunfan frowned slightly. So I advise Lord Baron, you should leave quickly. If you are just an ordinary person, they will still let you go. If they know your identity, they will definitely kill you as soon as possible. It seems that these bandits seem to have irreconcilable conflicts with the nobles. Yunfan murmured to himself, this group of bandits actually killed 2 nobles. Didn't the Empire send people to eliminate them? How could it be possible? This group of bandits is too cunning. When the Imperial army came, they hid in the mountains and dealt with the Imperial army. When the Imperial army left, they came out of the mountains. In the end, the Imperial army could only turn a blind eye. It seems that this bandit matter is really a trouble. If I had known that this place is so chaotic, I should have hired a mercenary team. Yunfan shook his head and muttered, Master, otherwise let me go to the mountains to eliminate the bandits. O'Neill Leonard said, standing beside Yunfan. Uncle O'Neill, let's wait and see about the bandits. You know, we don't know where these bandits are now. Even if we go into the mountains, we may not be able to find them for a while. Yunfan thought for a moment and said, let's find some people to repair the house first. After all, this place will be my fiefdom in the future. O'Neill Leonard nodded. Old man, can you find some young and strong young people to help me repair the Baron's mansion? Don't worry, I won't treat you unfairly. I'll calculate it according to 5 silver coins per day. Yunfan felt that many people in the town respected the old man. If he asked the old man for help, it would be easier. As Yunfan expected, as the most prestigious old man in the town, the matter of rebuilding the Baron's mansion was quickly responded to by the people in the town. There are too few young people in the town of Grom on the west coast. It's a problem to protect the town. Yunfan couldn't help but sighed softly. This is also a helpless thing. Who makes the town of Grom on the west coast located at the border between the 2 countries? O'Neill Leonard said. If we simply recruit some mercenaries to protect the town, we won't be able to solve the real problem at all. Yunfan looked up at the sky and said, then what are your plans, young master? After all, this is my fiefdom, and I can't let it decline. When the Baron's auxiliary is almost completed, I will have people repair the city wall and recruit some more palace soldiers. Yunfan said helplessly. When he was on Earth, he still played strategic games. If you want to build a city well, talents are indispensable. However, it may be difficult to find even a professional in the small town of Grom on the west coast. However, this matter cannot be rushed. Yunfan spent 3 days to develop the magic world version of cement. Then Yunfan bought 200 strong slaves in the neighboring city of Argaman. Although Yunfan did not like the slavery system in this world, in order to do things, he did not directly remove the status of these slaves, but directly formulated a reward and punishment method. After meeting the requirements, not only can the slave status be removed, but also a considerable reward can be obtained. Many slaves were very skeptical of Yunfan's words. In their opinion, Yunfan was just making a blank check. However, when the first slave reached Yunfan's standard, Yunfan tore up the slave contract in front of everyone, and almost all the slaves were very excited and full of energy. They originally thought that their lives had no hope and were extremely bleak, but now Yunfan's actions have given them new hope. I didn't expect that the young master is really kind-hearted, O'Neill Leonard said with emotion. To be honest, if I wasn't afraid of leaving them with the impression that they could get something for nothing, I would let them all regain their freedom. Yunfan looked at these energetic slaves and said, there is no distinction between high and low in life, and slavery should not exist in this world. If one day I stand at the top of this world, I will definitely break the slavery system. If the young master really does this, I'm afraid he will offend a lot of people. O'Neill Leonard looked at Yunfan intently and said, when you have absolute strength and stand at the top of the world, who can disobey your decision? Chapter 212 Construction. Time passed day by day, and more than a month passed in the blink of an eye. The West Coast Scrom town also had a brand new look under Yunfan's development. Brand new streets, brand new town walls, and brand new houses. The first batch of slaves purchased by Yunfan all left their slave status and became official residents of the town, and most of these slaves became palace soldiers. 300 palace soldiers were divided into 3 brigades and 30 squads by Yunfan, responsible for patrolling the town every day. The captains of the 3 brigades can get 3 gold coins per month, and the 30 squad leaders can also get 2 gold coins per month. Even ordinary palace soldiers can get 1 gold coin per month. You know, if an ordinary family lives for half a year, 1 gold coin. So being able to become a member of the palace soldiers is also a very glorious job in the town. The old man that Yunfan met when he first entered the town used to be a housekeeper in the baron's mansion. He had a set of management skills. Yunfan spent 5 gold coins to hire the old man to assist O'Neill Leonard in managing the West Coast Scrom town. Although the town has gradually been on the right track, there is still a great shortage of manpower. Yunfan came to Argaman again because of the experience of buying slaves last time. This time he bought slaves much faster than last time. The slaves bought last time were mainly strong men. This time he targeted warriors with fighting ability and some women who can work. However, these warriors with fighting ability are much more expensive than the original young slaves. A first level warrior is worth 50 gold coins, a second level warrior is worth 500 gold coins, and there are indeed no warriors above the level 20 first level warriors, 5 second level warriors, 200 strong young slaves, 400 female slaves. The reason for buying female slaves is not because Yunfan has any special hobbies. It is naturally impossible to develop a town with only men. With the addition of new blood, it has entered the stage of development again. Yunfan and his people have expanded the town by more than twice. In order to resist foreign invasion, Yunfan redesigned the city wall. After more than 2 months of development, the West Coast Scrom town has undergone earth-shaking changes, and everything is booming in a good direction. The palace soldiers have also expanded from the original 300 to 600 people. The 25 soldiers bought formed the Baron's Palace Patrol Team. The West Coast Scrom town finally has some defensive power, unlike the sheep exposed at the beginning. Although the current defense power has improved a lot, if we encounter that group of mountain bandits, I'm afraid we still can't resist it. The old housekeeper Mog said to Yunfan worriedly. Yunfan frowned slightly, then walked into his laboratory. In just one day, he made the first magic gun. The structure of the magic gun is almost the same as that of an ordinary gun on Earth, but when making bullets, Yunfan used magic materials from the magic world, and the magic bullets shot out are much stronger than ordinary bullets. Everyone looked at the magic gun in Yunfan's hand curiously. Master, what is this thing in your hand? Why have I never seen it before? O'Neill Leonard asked puzzledly while looking at the magic gun in Yunfan's hand. Of course you haven't seen it before. This is something I just invented. Yunfan said with a mysterious smile. Master, what is the use of this thing? O'Neill Leonard was even more curious. This thing is a magic weapon that ordinary people can use. Yunfan said with a grin. A magic weapon that ordinary people can use? Is it this long tube? It's useless for me to say so much, so I'll use it for you to see. Yunfan said as he pointed the muzzle of the gun into the distance, and then Yunfan gently pulled the trigger. Dang, a fire snake sprayed out from the muzzle of the gun. The sound of the gun startled everyone. What happened just now? The power of that attack should be as strong as that of a 3rd level professional, and the attack distance should be more than 200 meters. Master, is this the magic weapon you mentioned? O'Neill Leonard looked at the magic gun in Yunfan's hand and said, this thing shouldn't be of much use to you, right? Although it doesn't have much use to me, I can use it to arm our palace soldiers. You know, magic guns don't require any mental power or magic power. Even a woman or a child can use it. Yunfan explained with a smile. You mean that ordinary people can have the attack power of a 3rd level professional? Master, if you say that, won't the whole city be soldiers? O'Neill Leonard said after a slight pause. That's right. And the attack speed of this thing is very fast. Ordinary professionals have no time to defend. Have you heard that our Baron has invented a new weapon? This weapon can be used by ordinary people. It can shoot hundreds of meters away and has the attack power of a third level professional. Is a weapon now a bow and arrow? It's not a bow and arrow. It's something called a magic gun by our Baron. The Baron plans to equip the palace soldiers with this magic gun. Once we are equipped with magic guns, we will no longer be afraid of those bandits. The Baron is so great. Of course, since the Baron came, our lives have become prosperous. We used to be hungry, but now we have meat for almost every meal. We must protect our Baron and the town of Grom on the west coast. We must not let those bandits destroy our hard-earned happiness. It is said that magic guns are not yet popular, so I must perform well and strive to own a magic gun in advance. The forging material of the magic gun is mainly iron, which Yunfan did not prepare much. He used up all the iron materials he had and barely made 120 magic guns. Yunfan distributed these magic guns to the 6 fuming battalions. The members who got the magic guns were excited, but those who didn't were a little dejected. Those who get the magic guns don't have them forever. If you don't perform well in normal times and let others surpass you, the magic gun will be given to the one who surpasses you, so you must concentrate during training. Yunfan said to all the fuming battalions. Chapter 213 changes. It turns out that this magic gun is not for them to use permanently. I must train well and perform seriously to strive for the opportunity to use the magic gun next time. Is this the West Coast Grom town we have been to before? But why has it changed so much? This matter must be notified to the chief. I heard that there is a new Baron in the West Coast Grom town. These changes are all caused by that Baron. I didn't expect that there are still people who are not afraid of death and dare to come to the West Coast Grom town to be a Baron. Don't he know? Our chief hates Barons the most. It's just that there are more palace soldiers. These palace soldiers are just ordinary people. For our chief, a 5th level master, it is easy to get rid of these palace soldiers. But what if this Baron has some mysterious means? The Baron is just a noble with the lowest title. What good can a small noble like this have? That's right, as long as our chief takes action, this place will be wiped out in the blink of an eye. There is no need for our chief to take action. The second and third chiefs can do it. Looking at what this new Baron has done, there should be a lot of good things at home. Even if there is not, there should be a lot of money. When the chief and his men slaughter the Baron's mansion, the chiefs eat meat, and we can at least have some soup. Then what are we waiting for here? Hurry back. Yunfan naturally didn't know that a mountain bandit dressed as an ordinary person had secretly investigated the situation in the town of Grom on the west coast and was ready to report to their leader. Fortunately, the existence of the magic gun was completely secretive to the outside world. In the dead of night, Yunfan did not rest immediately. At the same time, he practiced meditation and fighting spirit. After trying for a period of time recently, Yunfan found that he could control his body like controlling 2 programs on a computer and meditate and practice fighting spirit at the same time. Yunfan called this state multitasking. The King D fighting spirit in his body followed the trajectory of fighting spirit. Under the control of Yunfan's mind, it silently flowed in every meridian, flesh, tendons, and bones in his body. Yunfan could clearly feel that both physical strength and sensory power had been greatly improved. At the same time, Yunfan controlled his mental power according to the formula of advanced meditation and circulated back and forth in the sea of consciousness. Multitasking. This feeling is very special, just like a person controlling 2 bodies at the same time, and these 2 bodies are not connected to each other. If an ordinary person does this, it is possible that he has become mentally disturbed and possessed. Only Yunfan's special physique can do it. After reading so many classics, Yunfan has never seen his current state in any classics. Yunfan sat upright on the bed, breathing steadily, and in the end, it was like falling asleep. The sea is big when it is tolerant, and the various elements are like elves, dancing around him. Enlightenment. If other magicians saw it, they would be surprised, because Yunfan's current state is a legendary enlightenment. Legend has it that only saints who truly understand the essence of magic can enter this state. In Ji Yunfan's state, various magic elements weighed slightly around him, and a trace of light and gentle energy quietly penetrated into his body along the slightly opened pores all over Ji Yunfan's body. At the same time, it constantly corrected his mental power, felt his body, and constantly added vitality and strengthened his body. The epiphany continued, and the strengthening was also carried out and strengthened unconsciously. The young master is indeed an incredible person. There are so many magic elements gathered in his house. I don't know how he did it, but isn't the young master a dark magician? How come all kinds of elements are gathered here? O'Neil Leonard stopped practicing, opened his eyes, and looked in the direction of Ji Yunfan in disbelief. Forget it, it's not the first time that the young master's magic is known, right? Who knows what earth-shaking feats he may have. I don't know how long this epiphany lasted. Ji Yunfan only remembered that when he woke up, the hot sunlight had already illuminated the room. He stretched lazily, raised his head, and felt that his mental strength had improved compared to yesterday. He felt an indescribable vitality and fulfillment all over his body. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but be happy. Not bad. Only then did he notice that the magic element in his room were much denser than other places. After a moment, Ji Yunfan clenched his palms slightly, and in his gentle laughter, there was an undisguised surprise. If this continues, both magic and fighting spirit should reach the middle stage of the 5th stage soon. The development of the West Coast Scrum town has gradually made many small merchants feel the business opportunities. They decided to open stores in the West Coast Scrum town. The entry of merchants has brought new vitality to the entire town. With the entry of merchants, adventurers came. The West Coast Scrum town has gradually changed from a small town that no one cares about to a place where some adventurers replenish supplies. In order to better train these palace soldiers, Ji Yunfan built a training hall in the town of Grom on the west coast. The training hall is divided into two parts, east and west. The east part is the place for daily training, and the west is the arena. If you want to advance from an ordinary palace soldier to a high-level palace soldier, you can choose to challenge. At this time, many people are crowding on the training ground, watching the competition on the field with great interest. Look, Brother Suyato is probably already at the top of the ordinary products. Maybe he can break through the first level and join the patrol team when the time comes. 2 days ago, Brother Sonata was promoted to the first level and was accepted into the patrol team by our Baron. As a member of the patrol team, there will be a special fighting skill teacher who teaches us the real fighting spirit training method. Although Brother Suyata can almost brew fighting spirit, it is really impossible compared to Captain Kaya who is born with supernatural power. Come on, Brother Suyatu. Come on, Captain Kaya. Hearing the surprised shouts from the crowd, Ji Yunfan stopped and looked around the training ground. Finally, he stopped with interest on the two young men fighting. After this period of training, these two guys already have a certain fighting power. Ji Yunfan nodded gently. Suyatu and Kai were both slaves that Ji Yunfan bought from the city at that time, and now they have been given freedom. These two people are very grateful to Ji Yunfan. Chapter 214 West Asia. These two people are not too old. If they can get the right training, I believe they will achieve some success in the future. With a faint smile, Ji Yunfan shook off the thoughts in his mind and continued to walk around the street. On the training ground, Kaya dodged Suyato's swift attack with his amazing speed, and his face remained calm. Kaya paused when he accidentally saw Ji Yunfan leaving. Captain Kaya, be careful. Just when Kaya was slightly distracted, the young man's urgent voice suddenly came from the crowd. Then Kaya immediately reacted and dodged Suyato's attack without any danger. Captain Kaya, how did you almost capsize in the ditch? Ji Yunfan was no longer interested in this level of economy and walked towards the street facing the warm sunshine. Brother Dante. A light voice suddenly came from behind, and Ji Yunfan turned his head and walked towards the voice. A young girl stood in front of Ji Yunfan, her delicate white hands gently combing her hair, her body leaning forward slightly, her beautiful eyes curved into crescents, and a shallow dimple appeared on her pretty face, which was very cute. It turned out to be Zaya. Are you going out shopping so early? Ji Yunfan said with a smile. The little girl named Zaya pursed her lips and chuckled, walked to Ji Yunfan with light steps, stretched lazily, and her exquisite curves, wrapped in a tight dress, suddenly stood out seductively. A fresh and elegant fragrance came to her nose, and she smiled lazily. I came here specifically to play with Brother Dante. Hearing this, Yunfan raised his eyebrows. He was actually very curious about this mysterious little girl and her grandfather. 2 days ago, a mysterious old man brought his granddaughter to the small town of Grom on the west coast. Although they looked like ordinary people on the surface, even Yunfan thought so at the beginning. The obscure and weak energy fluctuations on them were difficult to be detected by people, so even if Yunfan used his spirit, he didn't find out the reason. But Sakadin told Yunfan that the little girl and her grandfather were not ordinary. Under Yunfan's questioning, Sakadin told Yunfan that the old man had the ability of a saint-level professional, and if the old man didn't use his ability, even he couldn't determine the old man's profession, which really surprised Yunfan. What is the identity of this girl? Look at the skills she used in the battle when she dealt with the adventurer who teased him yesterday. A few thoughts flashed through his mind, and Yunfan shrugged slightly and shook his head slightly. Seeing Yunfan's expression, the smile on the little girl's face suddenly deepened, and she chuckled. Brother Dante, that thing called magic gun, I think it's very interesting. Can you give me one? Yeah. Yunfan nodded lightly, without denying it, and asked casually, with your strength, that thing will be of no use to you, right? I just think it's very fun. Zaya shrugged her shoulders imitating Yunfan's appearance, and then smiled, turning her eyes to Yunfan, with a hint of curiosity. Grandpa said that thing called magic box, although very simple, it is indeed very special. Through nearly a year of learning magic and practicing fighting spirit, Yunfan has gradually mastered the essence of practice. As the saying goes, all roads lead to Rome. Whether it is the practice of fighting spirit or the practice of magic, it is nothing more than the mastery of energy. Once you reach the saint level, you can see the essence of things. Yunfan was slightly startled, a little embarrassed, and smiled bitterly. I don't have a magic gun with me now, I will give you one when I go back later. Looking up and looking at the girl's slightly wrinkled nose, Yunfan felt very intimate, and couldn't help but stretched out his palm to pat Zuna's head affectionately, but soon realized that his action seemed a little reckless, and explained, Zaya, don't think too much, I treat you as a sister. The more Yunfan said, the more embarrassed he felt, as if the more he explained, the worse it was. Listening to Yunfan's explanation, Zaya's face turned slightly red, and he thought to himself, this little brother who doesn't understand romance. That intimate look made the male adventurers not far away jealous with red eyes. This guy is simply a beast. He doesn't even let such a little lolly go. Brother Dante, you look like you are going to go shopping. I will go with you. After shopping, I will go to the Baron's mansion with you to get the magic done. Looking at the two people talking from afar, many young adventurers who like West Asia twitched their mouths slightly. Their faces were quite ugly, and their fists tightened and loosened. Most of them are ordinary adventurers. With their identities, how could they compete with the Baron for a woman? At this time, Yunfan was still in the crowd, and felt a murderous intent coming. He couldn't help but look in that direction. He saw a young man in aristocratic clothes not far away looking at him angrily. Who is this person? Yunfan believed that he had never seen that young man. Then the young man in aristocratic clothes slowly walked towards the two of them. As the grandson of the chief elder of the Odysseus family, one of the 4 inherited families in the Orrible Empire, Berkeley has always had a strong sense of superiority. For Zaya, a unique girl, Berkeley has already determined to make her his wife. In his mind, he is narcissistic, and thinks that only he can be worthy of Zaya. Although this is just his wishful thinking, he never makes it easy for those who dare to approach Zaya. Now he sees his designated wife talking and laughing with another person, very intimately. Regardless of whether this person has a relationship with Zaya, this makes Berkeley jealous. Moreover, most importantly, the person who is talking and laughing intimately with Zaya is not from their empire, so many targeted methods cannot be used. Anger kept rolling in his eyes. Although he wanted to tear Yunfan's bones and scatter her ashes at this moment, he also knew that he couldn't do that. After a while, Berkeley slowly exhaled, and his usual warm smile appeared on his face again. He straightened his messy clothes and walked towards Yunfan and the others in full view of everyone. Everyone looked at Berkeley, who was walking towards the two of them, and they were all a little gloating. They couldn't get the favor of the beauty, so naturally they didn't want Ji Yunfan to get it so easily. Chapter 215 Conflict. Moreover, judging from the clothes of this young man, his identity is not simple. It would be great if the two of them could do something radical, and they could also treat it as a joke. Zaya, sister, I didn't expect to meet you here. We are really destined to meet. Berkeley, you are really annoying. You actually followed me all the way from the Oraba Empire to here. If it weren't for... Zaya didn't continue to speak, but looked at Berkeley viciously. Oraba Empire. Although Ji Yunfan had no expression on the surface, he was shocked in his heart. The relationship between the Oraba Empire and the Nigel Empire has never been harmonious. He didn't expect that the young man in front of him who was hostile to him was actually from the Oraba Empire. Level 4. Ji Yunfan used his mental power to scan the body of the young man in front of him. He just breathed a sigh of relief, but then his drooping eyebrows suddenly frowned. His sensitive soul perception allowed him to clearly know that there were several masters hiding not far away. Why did these guys come? What is the identity of this girl? She is really a troublemaker. Ji Yunfan sighed softly. Haha, Baron Dante, it seems that you manage this town well, or you can come with me and go to the Oraba Empire. I will let my father arrange a viscount for you. Standing in front of Ji Yunfan with a smile on his face, Berkeley laughed in a gentle voice. You know, the entire Nigel Empire is in a turbulent time now. How can our Oraba Empire be stable? Ji Yunfan has already felt a murderous aura from this young man, with deep malice mixed in it. If he really agrees to this young man, I'm afraid there will be no good end. Ji Yunfan shook his head slightly and said lightly, thank you for your concern. I don't need it for the time being. Baron Dante, you are too ungrateful. Do you know who I am? Berkeley seemed to smile suddenly, but the sarcasm on his face was not hidden very deeply. Ji Yunfan sighed lightly. He didn't want to cause too much trouble, but he didn't expect that trouble would find him. Ji Yunfan's mouth corners slowly lifted up to reveal a hint of sarcasm, and he said lightly, I know what you want to do. You say these just to attract Zaya's attention. However, I still have to say that you are very naive. Please face the facts now, okay? No matter what your identity is in the Oraba Empire, it has nothing to do with me. Besides, this is the Nigel Empire. Although there are many people in the empire who want me dead, the relationship between the two empires is involved. The meaning of me, the Baron, is different. After Ji Yunfan's ruthless preaching, the smile on Berkeley's face gradually subsided. He didn't expect that this guy, who was just a baron, had such deep insights. His face was gloomy and he sneered. It seems that Baron Dante has some prejudice against me. Otherwise, let's fight according to the way the nobles solve the problem. It will also allow me to see how much you, a baron, weigh. Berkeley was still very confident in his own strength. He did not think that Ji Yunfan was stronger than him. He was provoking Ji Yunfan now, and he was using an open plot. If you follow the noble's way, you can just deal with Ji Yunfan. If you don't accept it, it will leave a handle among the nobles. Of course, Ji Yunfan didn't know much about these unspoken rules among the nobles. Do you need me to fight with you? Zaya raised her little face, and a little coldness appeared on her pretty face. Berkeley couldn't help but twitch. Looking at Zaya, who stood up for Ji Yunfan, Berkeley's jealousy was even stronger. He wanted to cut Ji Yunfan into pieces, but he couldn't do it directly. He continued to taunt. Do you know how to hide behind a woman? Do you care about me? Ji Yunfan said carelessly, without any so-called noble spirit. It must be said that Ji Yunfan's calm appearance, in the eyes of Berkeley, who had a bad impression of him, made him feel a blockage in his chest. The plot did not develop as he expected. Berkeley gritted his teeth fiercely, making a creaking sound. Although he was extremely angry, he knew that it was not the right time to take action. He still had a mission to complete. If he acted rashly, the people of the Nigel Empire would know his secret. Berkeley took a deep breath, glanced at Ji Yunfan with great viciousness, lowered his head slightly, and whispered coldly in his ear, Baron Dante, you are very good. After that, Berkeley turned and left. Looking at Berkele's back as he left, Yunfan raised the corner of his mouth slightly, tilted his head slightly, and looked at Berkele with an extremely strange look, muttering in his heart, "Something seems to be wrong." At the same time, Berkele was already very angry in his heart. "Damn bastard, you wait. If it weren't for completing the family trial, I would kill you now." "Who is that guy?" Yunfan turned his head and asked Zaya beside him. Berkele Oddus is the grandson of the great elder of the Oddus family, one of the 4 inherited families in the Liber Empire. Because he is a direct descendant, he is one of the heirs to the patriarch of the Oddus family. I'm afraid he has other purposes for coming here this time. Zaya curled his lips slightly and said with some disapproval. Berkele's appearance made Zaya feel very unhappy, but for some reason, he still followed Yunfan and strolled with Yunfan for a whole morning and left at noon. Before leaving, Yunfan gave Zaya a magic gun as promised and taught her how to use it. That little girl, her origin seems to be a bit extraordinary. Sakadin's voice suddenly sounded in the room. Yunfan walked into the room, poured himself a cup of tea, picked up the cup, drank it all in one gulp and said, "With a grandfather who is a saint-level strong man, how can he be an ordinary person? By the way, have you noticed that many masters have come in the past 2 days? I always feel that something seems to be happening. I seem to have heard something." Sakadin narrowed his eyes, smiled, and looked at the curious look of Yunfan. "Do you want to know? If you want to know, just ask me. I will not tell you." Yunfan rolled his eyes. "Just say what you want to say. Actually, I'm not that curious." "You kid, really? You obviously want to know so much, but you deliberately pretend to be deep in front of me. Is it interesting?" Sakadin said unhappily. "Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and say it." Chapter 216 Return to Argument. Although Yunfan sometimes uses his mental power to inquire about other people's news, it would be easy to be discovered if he eavesdropped in front of master with similar abilities. However, the existence of Sakadin is like a bug. Even in front of a saint-level powerhouse, it is difficult to be discovered if he eavesdrops. A tomb of a demigod-level powerhouse during the Zal Empire, hiding the secret of becoming a god. In this case, I must go there. In the early morning, a thin white mist enveloped the top of the back mountain, and it lasted for a long time, and the breeze blew. In half a month, 35 dark magic bases, 35 space magic bases, and 35 wood magic bases were completed. This unparalleled cultivation speed was probably beyond the reach of Sakadin before he became a god. 35 magic bases are already the maximum number of magic bases that can be constructed at the 5th level. Although the more magic bases there are, the more difficult it is to be promoted, but at the current speed, as long as Yunfan's mental power can keep up, it is probably not impossible to cultivate to the 6th level within a year. Of course, under this premise, there must be sufficient cultivation potions. But at the moment, Yunfan doesn't have much potion on him, so what Yunfan needs to do most is to buy materials again, and then refine cultivation potions. It seems very simple, but Yunfan has encountered a big problem recently. He has no money. Yunfan smiled bitterly. A penny can make a hero fall. In order to build the West Coast Grom Town, he really spent a lot of money during this period. He stretched out his fingers and calculated a little bit. He didn't expect that he would be forced into this state by money. The things in the Cardinal's ring are of high level. Some things are what he needs, and some things are not allowed to be seen in the light. After holding his chin and thinking for a while, Yunfan rolled his eyes and suddenly asked, "Sakadin, what kind of potion do you think I should make to auction to make money as quickly as possible? With your current ability, it is no problem to refine some 5th level potions, and among all kinds of medicines, breakthrough potions are the most expensive. 5th level breakthrough potions? But I don't have enough money to buy enough materials now." Yunfan smiled bitterly. "You are stupid and can't refine a 5th level high level potion. Can't you use some lower quality materials?" Sakadin said. "Is that so? Don't worry, kid, this potion is just a little less effective, but it is still much stronger than the potions refined by those 5th level masters outside," Sakadin said with certainty. Yunfan nodded slightly and chuckled. "It doesn't matter. Let's use materials of lower quality this time. Anyway, I won't use the refined products. Besides, as long as the quality is guaranteed, it's fine. Coming to Argument again, Ji Yunfan thought it would be easy to buy medicinal materials for refining medicines. Unexpectedly, in regular cities, high-level medicinal materials are controlled by the Pharmacist Association. If you want to buy medicinal materials from the Pharmacist Association, the minimum requirement is to be a pharmacist, and pharmacists can only buy medicinal materials one level higher than their own level. Welcome to the Pharmacist Association. I wonder what kind of medicine you are going to buy? A very beautiful waitress greeted Ji Yunfan warmly after seeing him enter the Pharmacist Association. Well, I heard that if you want to buy some high-grade medicinal materials, you must be from our Pharmacist Association, right? Yes, this is because they are afraid of some unscrupulous merchants who deliberately control the prices of medicinal materials in order to make money. The pretty waitress said, "How come you are a pharmacist? What do you mean you are afraid of unscrupulous merchants controlling the prices?" It is obviously the Pharmacist Association who wants to control the prices themselves. Sakuden said with a hint of contempt. This world is like this. The strong make the rules, and the weak can only passively obey. Ji Yunfan shook his head slightly. I'm not a pharmacist yet, but I'm here to take the pharmacist test. Ji Yunfan said lightly. Are you here to apply for the pharmacist exam? You look young, so your future must be limitless. The pretty waitress said hurriedly. I wonder if the young lady can introduce me to the pharmacist's assessment process. Ji Yunfan said. Of course you can. The assessment process is actually very simple. You pay a certain amount of assessment deposit, and there will be a special assessment pharmacist to supervise you. You will make an alchemical potion of the corresponding level on the spot. The beautiful waitress introduced. Oh, by the way, the materials for the pharmacist assessment can be purchased at the Pharmacist Association, or you can bring your own materials. So that's how it is. Is there any saying about the assessment deposit? Ji Yunfan asked curiously. This assessment deposit is actually a hard work fee for the pharmacist who is invigilating the exam. The beautiful waitress looked around and saw that no one was paying attention, so she whispered. So that's how it is. Ji Yunfan nodded. So if you are not sure, it would be better not to take the exam first. The beautiful waitress whispered. I wonder how much the examination fee for the 4th level pharmacist is. It's not much, only 10,000 gold coins. Young master, you don't really want to take the 4th level pharmacist examination, do you? The pretty waitress' eyes were full of disbelief. Looking at Ji Yunfan's still somewhat childish face, he should not be too old. Generally, those who can become 4th level pharmacists are in their 70s or 80s. If you don't want to take the 4th level pharmacist examination, why am I asking this, young lady? Oh my god, he is really here to take the 4th level pharmacist examination. At such a young age, he will definitely have a lot of room in the future. No, even if he doesn't improve in the future, he will still be a rich son-in-law. Then when are you going to take the examination, little brother? You should know that if you want to take the 4th level pharmacist examination, you must have 2 4th level or higher pharmacists to supervise together. 4th level pharmacists are generally very busy, so you need to make an appointment in advance. The pretty waitress' eyes flashed with charm. So that's the case. Naturally, the sooner the examination, the better. Ji Yunfan nodded slightly. Assessment as soon as possible? Vice President Luohe and the 4th level pharmacist Kane are available tomorrow morning. Do you think you are free tomorrow? The pretty waitress said, winking at Ji Yunfan. Tomorrow? Then tomorrow. Ji Yunfan said without hesitation. Do you have time in the evening, little brother? How about I treat you to dinner tonight? The pretty waitress said with a slight blush on her cheeks. Thank you, little sister. I have other things to do today, so I can't have dinner with you. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 217 Doubt. Ji Yunfan turned and left, and the pretty waitress showed a hint of disappointment on her face. Ji Yunfan left the Pharmacist Association and strolled around the streets of Argument again. The next morning, Yunfan came to the Pharmacist Association early. Little brother, I didn't expect you to come so early. But now the vice president and others haven't come yet, but refining medicine requires a calm mind. You might as well take this opportunity to be calm and improve the success rate of refining medicine. The pretty waitress said with concern. Thank you for telling me so much, but you have your own sense of propriety. By the way, didn't you say that those who are taking the assessment of pharmacists can buy some medicines for the assessment in advance from the Pharmacist Association? I don't have much medicinal materials on me. Can you take me to buy some medicinal materials? Yunfan said. Okay, little brother, come with me. The pretty waitress twisted her enchanting figure while speaking. Hey, isn't this Lina? Aren't you at the front desk reception? Why are you in the material area? The medicinal materials purchasing area of the Pharmacist Association. It's Mr. Pharmacist Suon. I'm here with this little brother Dante. The pretty waiter bowed respectfully to the person in charge of the medicine purchasing area of the Pharmacist Association and said, I'm afraid this little brother named Dante is not a pharmacist. It seems a bit against the rules for you to bring him to the medicine purchasing area. The pharmacist named Suon seemed a little unhappy and frowned slightly. It's like this, Mr. Pharmacist Suon, this little brother is here to take the pharmacist test and is preparing to purchase some medicines needed for the test. The pretty waiter explained. I didn't expect this little brother to come to take the first level trainee pharmacist test at such a young age. Not bad, not bad. The pharmacist named Suon stroked his beard and said, Mr. Pharmacist, I'm not here to take the first level pharmacist test. If you're not here to take the first level pharmacist test, then what are you doing here? Pharmacist Suon's face became a little ugly and he frowned slightly and questioned. I'm preparing to take the exam to become a 4th level pharmacist. Yunfan replied calmly. Little brother, are you making fun of me? How old are you now? You should be down to earth and doing things. Pharmacist Suon laughed angrily. Do you know that it took me 40 years to become a 3rd level pharmacist? Do you really think that this pharmacist just said it with his mouth? I can't bear to see you waste some top quality medicinal materials. Forget it. I won't make it difficult for you on this matter. Just go. Pharmacist Suon, are you so sure that I can't pass the assessment of a 4th level pharmacist? Okay, little guy, don't make a fuss here, otherwise I will really have someone kick you out, and from now on, don't even think about buying potions from the Pharmacist Association. Pharmacist Suon said in a deep tone. Why are young people so ambitious? Hearing the other party's words, Yunfan was not angry and continued to say calmly, this Sir Pharmacist, I'm here to buy medicinal materials for the assessment potion. It is unreasonable to refuse to sell me medicinal materials just because I'm young. Very good, you are really good. When you take the test later, I will go to see how you take the test for the 4th level pharmacist. If you waste the medicinal materials, don't blame me for reporting you to the president and you will never be able to buy all chemical potions again. Suon, the pharmacist, shouted angrily because he felt that Yunfan was too ungrateful. Don't worry, I will definitely pass the test. Yunfan looked at Lina who was a little worried and comforted her. Tell me, what medicinal materials do you want? Suon asked expressionlessly, as if Yunfan owed her a lot of money. Many pharmacists are very eccentric and stubborn. He felt that Yunfan just wanted to use this opportunity to pick up girls. 300-year-old golden scale grasses, 150-year-old wind resentment flower, 100 years. The herbs this kid is talking about are the herbs for refining 4th level cultivation potions. Is this kid really a 4th level pharmacist, or did he hear it from others? Pharmacist Suon was a little unsure for a moment. A total of 120,000 gold coins. Pharmacist Suon calculated expressionlessly. 120,000. Fortunately it's not too much, just enough. Yunfan also breathed a sigh of relief after hearing the price, because in addition to the 10,000 assessment fee, he only had 120,500 gold coins left on his body. Forget it, since you have a lot of money, I won't stop you. Pharmacist Suon collected the gold coins handed over by Yunfan. After getting the herbs he wanted, Yunfan came to the reception room of the Pharmacist Association and waited for the assessment. Little brother, wait here for a while. I'll go to the front desk to entertain people first. If you have anything, you can go to the front desk to find me. The beautiful waitress Lina said with a smile. I know, Sister Lina. Yunfan responded with a smile. At the same time, Yunfan thought to himself, I'm afraid this little girl named Lina is not a simple person. Hello, little brother, you look strange. You should not be from Argamon City, right? A middle-aged man in his 30s or 40s, wearing a pharmacist's robe, approached. Yes, I'm not from Argamon City. Yunfan responded calmly. It seems that you have a special relationship with Miss Lina, otherwise she wouldn't personally lead the way for you. The middle-aged pharmacist man said with some envy. You mean Miss Lina's identity is extraordinary? Then what exactly is her identity? Yunfan was really curious about Lina's identity. Miss Lina is the apprentice of Alana Gabriel, the president of our Pharmacist Association, and the daughter of Earl Alfred Rietschel, the Lord of Argamon. If you can get his favor, I'm afraid you will be successful soon. The middle-aged alchemist man replied, but you can't take it lightly. There are many young talents in our Pharmacist Association and even in Argamon, who have a good impression of Miss Lina. If they find out, you will probably be in trouble. Yunfan was stunned for a moment and thought to himself, is this the legendary beauty? Forget it. Anyway, I won't stay in Argamon for a long time. I will leave after getting money and purchasing medicinal materials for cultivation. For Yunfan, Argamon is just a passerby in his life, and the town of Grom on the west coast is his real base. Chapter 218 Assessment of Pharmacists. He believed that after a few years of construction, the prosperity of Grom town on the west coast would surely surpass this place. Just when Yunfan was outlining a bright future for Grom town on the west coast, the middle-aged second-level pharmacist suddenly pulled him and finally whispered mysteriously, little brother, I'm afraid there will be some trouble this time. What's wrong? Yunfan asked puzzled. Did you see the young first-level pharmacist at the door? The middle-aged second-level pharmacist glanced outside the door and said, I saw him. He looks like a dandy with some talent. Yunfan's voice was not loud, and it happened that only the two of them could hear it. Little brother, you have a good eye. That boy's a famous playboy in our Argamon city. His name is Garsha Wycliffe. Because of his family background, few people dare to trouble him. Moreover, this guy is one of Miss Lina's suitors. Many of Miss Lina's suitors were secretly plotted by this guy. Those who were plotted suffered from the lack of evidence and had to let it go in the end. The middle-aged second-level pharmacist said with some caution. If others don't offend me, I won't offend others. If this kid really doesn't know what's good for him, I don't mind letting him try my tricks. Yunfan said lightly. He is now a double 5th level professional. Although his strength is not a top master, it is more than enough to deal with some playboys. Since little brother said so, I won't say anything. The middle-aged second-level pharmacist shook his head slightly, thinking in his heart, he is still a little young and frivolous. If he doesn't experience some hardships, he may not know how to restrain himself. At this time, Garsha Wycliffe looked around the reception hall and found that his target did not appear. He frowned unhappily and then said something to a servant-dressed man beside him. The two chatted for a while, and the servant-dressed man pointed at Yunfan. Oh no, little brother, it seems that trouble is coming to you. Master, I just want to be a handsome man quietly every day. Why do I meet these jealous dudes all day long? Could it be that I have been in trouble recently? Yunfan muttered in his heart. Yunfan, it seems that your trouble is coming again. Sakadin's voice has some gloating meaning. Brother, you are very unfamiliar. Have you never been to Argamon before? The man named Garsha Wycliffe said as he walked towards Yunfan. It seems that the two are not rivals in love, but good friends who have not seen each other for many years. No, I came here twice some time ago. Yunfan said calmly. Brother, you look handsome. I wonder where you are from? Garsha Wycliffe said with a smile. I'm afraid I'll disappoint this young master. I'm just an ordinary commoner. Even if I tell you, I'm afraid you won't know. Yunfan couldn't tell that the other party was trying to find out his true strength. Don't worry, little brother. If you plan to stay in Argaman, why don't you follow me? I will definitely take care of you. Garsha Wycliffe said like a gentleman, as if he really regarded Ji Yunfan as his brother. However, Ji Yunfan knew that this guy in front of him definitely had bad intentions towards him, because the faint murderer Sora under his mental power had already been captured by Ji Yunfan. That's not necessary. I probably won't stay in Argaman for long. Ji Yunfan said indifferently. That's a pity. I feel like we hit it off right away. Garsha Wycliffe seemed to reveal a hint of disappointment on his face. If possible, I'm ready to become sworn brothers with you. Thank you for your kindness, young master. If I plan to stay in Argaman, I will definitely ask you for help. Ji Yunfan said indifferently. If it weren't for the fact that he couldn't sense the murderer Sora on Garsha Wycliffe, Ji Yunfan might really take his words seriously. A smile in tiger, but a knife hidden in his smile. This is Ji Yunfan's most intuitive feeling about Garsha Wycliffe. People like him will definitely do whatever it takes to do things. But Ji Yunfan didn't care at all, because Ji Yunfan was ready to participate in the auction, and after auctioning off the potion he had refined, he would leave Argaman City. In that case, I'll go find your sister-in-law Lina first. Garsha Wycliffe said with a smile, watching Ji Yunfan's reaction. He was testing the relationship between Ji Yunfan and Lina. If Ji Yunfan's reaction was a little stronger, he would definitely treat Ji Yunfan as his rival in love. Ji Yunfan didn't have any big reaction, and nodded indifferently. Not being able to see anything from Ji Yunfan's face, Garsha Wycliffe left very satisfied. It looks like this kid is very insidious. Be careful, don't let him stab you in the back. Sakadin said indifferently. No matter how sinister a person is, what can he do? Everything is nothing in front of absolute strength. I just don't want to cause trouble now. If this guy really doesn't know what's good for him, I don't care what his identity is. Anyway, I have already offended the great nobles of the empire like the Stephen family and the Garnet family. I don't care about offending a few more people of small power. Anyway, too many lice won't bite you. Ji Yunfan said to Sakadin calmly. Little brother, it seems that Garsha Wycliffe has noticed you. You must be more careful. The middle-aged second-level pharmacist reminded Ji Yunfan. Don't worry, I'm not so easy to bully. If he really thinks I'm a soft persimmon, I will definitely break a few of his teeth. Ji Yunfan stretched lazily and said calmly. At this time, a man dressed as a pharmacist apprentice walked in from outside and said to the people in the reception room, Dear pharmacists, the pharmacist assessment has begun. In addition to Ji Yunfan and the middle-aged second-level pharmacist, there were 2 pharmacist apprentices waiting for the assessment. Everyone followed the pharmacist apprentice who reported the news out of the reception room and walked towards their respective assessment areas. Brother, that's the first-level pharmacist assessment area. The middle-aged second-level pharmacist pointed to an area and said to Ji Yunfan, Uncle, who told you that I'm going to take the pharmacist exam? Ji Yunfan said lightly. Brother, aren't you taking the first-level pharmacist exam, but the second-level pharmacist exam? You have reached this level at such a young age. Your future is limitless. Chapter 219 Unbelievable. Ji Yunfan shook his head. I'm not going to take the second-level pharmacist exam either. At this moment, the middle-aged second-level pharmacist said in shock, Little brother, you are not going to take the third-level pharmacist exam like me, are you? How old are you now? I'm going to take the fourth-level pharmacist exam. Ji Yunfan said calmly. The middle-aged second-level pharmacist was stunned at this moment. He couldn't believe what Ji Yunfan said. Little brother, do you know what you are talking about now? In the incredible eyes of the middle-aged second-level pharmacist, Ji Yunfan slowly walked towards the fourth-level assessment area. My god, this little guy's really going to take the fourth-level pharmacist exam. He really doesn't know the height of the world. The middle-aged second-level pharmacist originally had a good impression of Ji Yunfan, otherwise he would not have said so much to Ji Yunfan. Forget it, this little guy can take whatever exam he wants. It has nothing to do with me. The middle-aged second-level pharmacist shook his head and walked towards his own assessment area. The pharmacist assessment is completed in a special dispensing room, and the fourth-level pharmacist assessment is completed in the advanced dispensing room of the Pharmacist Association. At this moment, two white-haired old men in the advanced dispensing room were discussing Yunfan's assessment. I heard from that little girl Lina that there is someone coming to take the test for the 4th level pharmacist today. I don't know which 3rd level pharmacist it is. There are only a few 3rd level pharmacists registered in our Argaman Pharmacist Society. Do you think it is Kennedy Timothy, Noel Stanley, or Bernard Gibson? It seems to me that, although the 3 people you mentioned are very likely, they are still not as good as Priestley Humphrey. Priestley Humphrey is a talented kid, but he is too young. I really can't believe that he can reach the 4th level pharmacist. Lina is really something. She makes things so mysterious. I must teach her a lesson next time. Vice President, I think you are just talking nonsense. If you really dare to do anything to that little girl, how about I invite you to Huchinlao for 3 days of feasting? This old guy is still thinking about exposing my secrets. Can't he respect me as an old guy? The 2 old men were like 2 old children, mocking each other in the pharmacy. Yunfan had just walked to the door of the advanced pharmacy when he heard the noise inside. He shook his head. Then he knocked on the door of the pharmacy. The noise in the pharmacy disappeared, and then an old voice came from the door. Come in. Yunfan gently opened the door and walked in slowly. Seeing Yunfan's appearance, the 2 old men in the pharmacy looked at each other and said, "Little guy, have you come to the wrong place? This is not the place for the 1st level pharmacist assessment. Senior, if this is the place for the 4th level pharmacist assessment, then I'm not wrong." Yunfan said to the 2 with a smile. "Little guy, are you making fun of us? You don't even have a pharmacist badge on you, and you are not even a pharmacist apprentice. You actually came to us and said you want to take the 4th level pharmacist assessment." One of the old men said unhappily. "2 seniors, can't those without the pharmacist badge take the assessment to become a 4th level pharmacist?" Yunfan asked calmly. It seems there is no such rule." The 2 old men looked at each other and then said uncertainly, "All along, all the pharmacist assessments have basically been gradual, from the 1st level to the 2nd level, and then to higher levels. No one really wastes money to take the assessment beyond the level. Little guy, are you really here to take the assessment to become a 4th level pharmacist?" The 2 old pharmacists looked at each other again. "Vice President Luohi, what do you think of this little guy?" "Now I'm not sure. I really don't know whether this little guy is conceited or confident. However, according to the regulations of our pharmacist association, as long as he pays the assessment fee, he will be allowed to take the assessment. Naturally, we have no reason not to let him take the assessment. Forget it, the money is his own anyway." Vice President Luohi communicated with the 4th level Kane pharmacist using mental power. "Since you are here for the assessment, you must be familiar with the assessment procedures. Aren't you going to refine a 4th level alchemical potion?" Yunfan asked. "Since you already know, let's get started," Vice President Luohi announced. "Okay, to seniors, since that's the case, I'll start." Yunfan said as he took out the prepared materials from his space ring. 100-year-old golden scale grass, 50-year-old wind resentment flower, 100 years. Could it be that this kid is preparing to practice a 4th level spiritual power training potion? Vice President Luohi glanced at Kane and said casually, "It seems that this kid really dares to have this plan." The 2 looked at Yunfan again and saw that Yunfan placed the medicinal materials in front of the refining table in an orderly manner. He ignited the switch of the heater smoothly, and the entire medicine room was instantly covered by a wave of heat. I didn't expect that this medicine room actually introduced beast fire. Yunfan felt the temperature of the flame in front of him and couldn't help but admire it. There are many flames that can be used to refine medicines in this world. The most powerful one is called heavenly fire, which is said to come from meteors from outer space. However, this kind of flame is also the most difficult to control. It is said that only saint-level pharmacists are qualified to control this kind of flame, but no one on the continent has ever heard of anyone possessing this kind of heavenly fire. The second-class flame is earthly fire, which is a flame generated from the depths of the earth and from the origin of the continent. The characteristics of this kind of flame are extremely high temperature, long-lasting, and endless. The third kind of flame is strange fire, and the source of strange fire is relatively wide. It can also be the flame produced by the body mutation of a fire magician, when the level is upgraded, or the special flame produced by a fire beast, when the level is upgraded. This kind of flame produced by a beast is also called beast fire. Refining potions of level 4 and below does not require too much flame, but if you want to refine potions of level 5 or above, ordinary flames will not meet the requirements. This is not only true for refining potions, but also for refining magic equipment. Therefore, any alchemical product will have a qualitative leap in power once it reaches level 5, and the price will increase several times. Therefore, even if the mental power has reached level 5, and you have level 5 equipment and the ability to refine level 5 alchemical potions, you cannot refine them. Chapter 220 Types of Flames. I didn't expect this little guy to have such good eyesight that he could recognize this as beast fire at a glance. This beast fire is extremely complex. It's not a good thing. It's hard to refine a 6th level potion. Sakadin said, if I'm not mistaken, this beast fire should be artificial, and the level of the person who made it is not very good. Artificial beast fire? Forget about these things, I'll tell you later. Now you should hurry up and refine the potion. Sakadin said, little guy, this beast fire is not something you can control now. I think you should use ordinary flames now. Vice President Oluohi shook his head and pointed to another button on the refining table and said, ordinary people have never come into contact with beast fire. It is absolutely difficult to control it. To seniors, I have never come into contact with beast fire before, so I want to try it. Yunfan said respectfully to the two. In this case, you should try to control the beast fire first. If you can't even control the flame, then you should honestly use ordinary flames. Yunfan didn't say anything, slowly controlling the flame. Yunfan clearly felt the difference between beast fire and ordinary flames. The temperature of beast fire is much higher than that of ordinary fire, and it is also more violent. If you are not careful, it will be out of the control of the near mental power. Heavenly fire, earthly fire, and strange fire are very different from ordinary fire. It can be said that strange fire has a soul. You must feel the core of the soul to control the fire. Otherwise, you must use a lot of mental power to suppress the fire. Therefore, for ordinary 4th level pharmacists, this is almost impossible to accomplish. Sakadin said, why have I never heard of other people talking about it? These things are generally passed down from one generation to another. In addition to being passed down to one's own disciples, there is a big gap in the knowledge of pharmacists on the continent. It seems that someone deliberately did it. Forget it. These things are still far away from you. What you need to do now is to feel the core of this beast fire. Of course, it doesn't matter if you can't control the core now. Just use strong mental power to suppress it. The effect is a little worse, but it's okay. Of course, Sakadin didn't tell Yunfan that. Even if he told ordinary pharmacists about this thing, ordinary pharmacists would definitely not be able to do it. At least he, an alchemist genius, didn't do it before the god realm, and he had never heard of anyone who could control it when he was at the 5th level of mental power. The reason why Sakadin didn't say this was that he wanted to see if Yunfan could create a miracle. Is it okay? This is not what I want. Yunfan narrowed his eyes slightly, and his mental power covered the beast fire like peeling silk from a cocoon. To be honest, he was still very confused about the beast fire in front of him. However, these are not a problem for Yunfan, who likes challenges. His mental power is like a scanner. Through the scanning of mental power, he displayed the structure diagram of the beast fire in front of him in 3 dimensions in his mind. It seems that there is something different here. At this moment, he felt that there was a slight difference in the beast fire. The difference was very small. If Yunfan's mental power had not reached the state of subtlety, it would be impossible to find this slight difference. Yunfan concentrated all his mental power on that point, and a faint emotion of irritability and hatred was transmitted to Yunfan by mental power. Is this the core? Why do I feel hatred in it? Yunfan controlled his mental power to analyze it slowly, and then transformed his mental power frequency into the same frequency as that of the different point. Then a magical thing happened. He felt that he instantly turned into a ball of fire, and the beast fire was like his body. In this state, Yunfan felt that the loss of his mental power was minimal. What a magical feeling. Is this what control is? Oh my god, you actually did it. It's incredible. Sakadan's voice was full of surprise. I just wanted you to try it. If that's the case, you can definitely refine advanced potions now. The beast fire changed into various forms under Yunfan's control. The two elderly pharmacists looked unbelievable when they saw this scene. You know, they have been 4th level pharmacists for a long time, and it is still very difficult to control the beast fire. How is it possible? Could this little brother be the reincarnation of the god of pharmacists? Yunfan seemed to be unaware of everything around him. He had now entered a very wonderful state. His hands were like a clever elf, flying between various medicinal materials. Every movement was standard and perfect, just like an artist. The two 4th level pharmacists watched Yunfan's every move intently, not daring to make any noise. Fuck, this guy's too amazing. He actually got enlightenment while refining the potion. I remember the first time I got enlightenment was when I became a god. At that time, I was regarded as a genius by my tribe. This, Sakadan said with a bit of jealousy. Forget it, he is still my nominal master now. The higher the master's talent, the happier I should be. Yunfan followed the method of refining the 4th level spiritual power training potion step by step. Until the last step, there was no mistake. Yunfan finally divided the potion into 5 parts and put them into the prepared potion bottles. Luohi and Kane felt for the first time that refining the 4th level potion would be so simple. They were even immersed in every step of Yunfan. Seeing Luohi and Kane staring at him blankly, Yunfan felt a little puzzled, but he couldn't help interrupting and said, "To seniors, I have completed the refining of the 4th level potion. I wonder if I'm now considered a 4th level pharmacist." Of course, Master Dante, please sit here." The two people very earnestly invited Yunfan to sit on a chair above them. "Two seniors, what's wrong with you?" Yunfan said a little flattered. "Master, don't call us seniors. Just call us by our names. As the saying goes, there are differences in learning and specialization. We are going to ask Master Dante some questions." Luohi and Kane waved their hands again and again, a little embarrassed. "How can this be? Master, if you don't agree, you are looking down on us." Luohi and Kane said emotionally. Chapter 221 Siegel Auction House. How dare I look down on the two seniors? In that case, I will call you Master Luohi and Master Kane. Well, by the way, Master Dante, can you tell me why the beast fire is so obedient in front of you? Yunfan repeated what Sakadan said to him to the two people, and the two people showed incredible expressions on their faces. Beast fire soul? Is it possible? Anyway, I feel a faint hatred in the beast fire. Luohi and Kane tried it according to what Yunfan said, but did not feel any strangeness in the beast fire, so they had to choose to give up temporarily. By the way, Master Dante, since you have refined the 4th level potion, can you let us take a look first? Luohi and Kane were still very curious about the potion that Yunfan had refined. Of course, I just want the two masters to help me identify it. Yunfan said as he handed the potion to the two people. The two people were a little excited and took the potion. They gently opened the potion bottle cap, and Luohi took out a needle-like potion quality identification device from his space ring. Then he carefully inserted the potion quality detector into the potion, made by Yunfan. It's a potion of perfect quality. This is incredible. Luohi couldn't help but exclaimed. If he knew that the possibility of a 4th level perfect potion would be much lower than the possibility of a 7th level potion. Luohi and Kane each spent 5 million gold coins to buy a bottle of potion from Yunfan. Did the two masters give me too much for 5 million gold coins? I went to the auction some time ago and only bid 3 million gold coins for a bottle of 5th level potion. Yunfan asked puzzledly. Among all chemical potions, those that can improve levels and help with cultivation are the most valuable, followed by some special potions. You should know that the potion you have refined is a perfect potion. The preciousness of this potion is beyond your imagination. At 5 million gold coins per bottle, we still got a great bargain. Luohi explained a little embarrassedly. If we can study this potion thoroughly, maybe we can advance to the 5th level pharmacist. Yunfan nodded slightly. Masters, have I completed the assessment now? Of course Master Dante, please come with me. I need to make a note of your information. Because Luohi, the vice president of the Pharmacist Association, was in charge of the operation, Ji Yunfan completed the registration quickly. Ji Yunfan pinned his pharmacist badge on his body. When Ji Yunfan came to the medicinal material area again, the pharmacist who received him last time looked at the badge on Ji Yunfan in disbelief. You really passed the 4th level pharmacist assessment and became a 4th level pharmacist? I'm afraid there are really few people on the mainland who dare to make fake pharmacist badges, Ji Yunfan said while pointing to the other badges on his chest. It seems that there are really so-called geniuses in this world. The pharmacist who received him felt very shocked and said to himself. Ji Yunfan selected a lot of 4th level medicinal herbs that he could use and a few 5th level medicinal herbs. Medicinal herbs after the 5th level are generally considered treasures, and they are very rare even in the Pharmacist Association. These medicinal herbs directly spent all the 10 million gold coins that Ji Yunfan had just received. No wonder everyone says that pharmacists are a very expensive profession. Ji Yunfan smacked his lips and said, although it is a very expensive profession, the money earned is also very considerable. Sakadin said, that's a good point. Forget it. Let's go to the auction house and auction off the remaining potions later. Boy, I advise you to keep one bottle. Why is this 4th level potion probably not very effective for me? If it was an ordinary 4th level potion, it would certainly not be very effective for you, but I don't know what kind of shit luck you had. You actually made a potion of perfect quality. Its efficacy has changed dramatically. This is why the 2 old guys spent so much money to buy your potion. Sakadin explained. The Sigil auction house, the largest auction house in Argaman, also belongs to the richest family in the Nurgle Empire, the Sigil family. The Sigil family controls more than 70% of the auction houses in the entire empire. In the Nurgle Empire, the Sigil family is probably the richest. The Sigil family has a long history and has developed in the Nurgle Empire for thousands of years. The relationship is complicated. According to some gossip, this poor family with only money left seems to have a slight relationship with the royal family of the Nurgle Empire. In the empire, there are a few special existences that are not afraid of the Stephen family in terms of economy. They are involved in the business, military and other aspects of the empire, and their influence is not small. The peers are the enemies of the family. Therefore, with the strong background of the Sigil family as the backstage, even if the profits of the auction house are so tempting, few people will have their eyes on them. Ji Yunfan looked at the huge venue at the end of the street and said to himself, it is worthy of being an auction house controlled by the Sigil family. Argaman is just a medium-sized city, but it is still built so grandly. O'Neil Leonard covered his face and stood beside Ji Yunfan like a butler. Ji Yunfan did not deliberately cover up his appearance. Some people saw the badge of the 4th level pharmacist on Ji Yunfan's chest and couldn't help but look at it a few more times. Ji Yunfan still underestimated the shock brought by his identity. A wild pharmacist is too attractive to some family forces. After all, if someone can produce potions on a large scale, it will be a huge change for a family. Seeing everyone's eyes, Ji Yunfan couldn't help but touch his nose, considering whether to put on some makeup before coming, so as to avoid unnecessary trouble for himself. But when he thought that he was about to leave, he gave up this plan. Touching the 2 bottles of potion he took out from the space ring, Ji Yunfan slowly walked towards the auction house. I don't know how much this thing can be sold for at the auction house. Under the curious and vigilant eyes of several fully armed guards at the door, Ji Yunfan walked straight in without stopping. Ji Yunfan walked into the auction house with O'Neil Leonard. His eyes swept across the spacious hall with golden and magnificent splendor. Ji Yunfan couldn't help but compare it with the auction house in Caesar City, where he had been before. The auction house here seemed more luxurious and grand. Hello, sir. Are you here to auction something, or attend an auction? Chapter 222, Potion Auction. Both. Ji Yunfan responded to a man dressed as an auctioneer. In that case, sir, please follow me. The man dressed as a waiter made a gesture to Ji Yunfan while speaking, and then took Ji Yunfan to the inner hall. After a while, he led Ji Yunfan to a treasure appraisal room. After pushing the door open, the room was a little empty. There was only a middle-aged man sitting on a chair beside the table with some boredom. Hearing the sound of the door being pushed open, the middle-aged man raised his head and frowned when he saw Ji Yunfan. However, when he saw the other pharmacist badge on Ji Yunfan's chest, he quickly put on a professional smile on his face. "Sir, are you going to auction the potion?" "Yes, I have 2 bottles of perfect quality 4th level spiritual power training potion here. I want to auction it at your auction house. I wonder if it is possible," Ji Yunfan said lightly. 4th level potion. The middle-aged man didn't think much of it at first, but after thinking about it, he immediately reacted and said in disbelief, "You are talking about a perfect quality 4th level spiritual power training potion? How can there be a perfect quality potion in this world?" Ji Yunfan took 2 steps forward, took out the potion from the space ring, and gently placed it on the table. "What is this?" The middle-aged man carefully picked up the potion bottle, slightly opened the stopper, and sniffed the bottle mouth. After a moment, his face changed slightly, and he looked at Ji Yunfan again with a trace of caution. "Master, is this a perfect quality potion?" "Yeah." Ji Yunfan nodded calmly, as if it was a very ordinary thing. "Master, can you wait a moment? I'll ask our auction house's chief appraiser to come over." Hearing Ji Yunfan's response, the middle-aged man became more cautious. The middle-aged man winked at the waiter who led the way, and the waiter immediately understood and saluted the 2 of them and turned and left in a hurry. Soon, he hurried back with an old man in his 60s or 70s. He glanced at the old man. The old man was wearing a golden magician robe, but he didn't have any badges. However, the moment the old man arrived, Ji Yunfan saw a faint herbal fragrance. It can be concluded that the old man should often deal with herbs, and he may even be a pharmacist. "Where is it? Where is it?" "The legendary 4th level potion." "Master, this is Master Vork from our auction house, and he is also a 3rd level pharmacist," the middle-aged man introduced respectfully. Hearing the old man's identity, Ji Yunfan couldn't help but look at the other party carefully. "A pharmacist? I'm afraid it's not just a pharmacist," Ji Yunfan secretly speculated in his heart. The old man's face was full of red. Although the magic robe on his body looked ordinary, there was a faint light flowing. Obviously, this magic robe should have been blessed with some defensive magic. On the ordinary old face, there was a touch of momentum that was difficult to conceal. This is something that can only be possessed by those who have been in a high position for a long time. While Ji Yunfan was sizing him up, Vork was also sizing Ji Yunfan up inconspicuously. When he saw the 4th level pharmacist badge on Ji Yunfan's chest, he couldn't help but be slightly surprised, and he also secretly guessed Ji Yunfan's identity in his heart. Ji Yunfan took a look at the 2 bottles of medicine he had placed on the table. Before he could say anything, the old man had already held the medicine in his hands and began to identify it. After Vork opened the bottle cap, he first sniffed the fragrant smell, narrowed his old eyes, his pupils flickered slightly, tilted the bottle mouth slightly, and slowly inserted the identification needle into the medicine. He stared at the medicine tightly, observing the changes in the identification needle. Incredible, really incredible, there is not a trace of impurities. A perfect quality 4th level spiritual power cultivation potion. Ordinary cultivation can increase the spiritual power cultivation speed by 100%. Taking it when breaking through the 5th level from the 4th level can increase the probability of breakthrough by 30%, and even after entering the 5th level, it has a great effect, and there is no negative effect. The medicinal power is also extremely mild, and will not cause any side effects. It is simply too incredible. Too perfect. The middle-aged man was shocked after hearing the old man's appraisal results. Any cultivation can only be conventional when breaking through. This has almost become common sense for everyone. Many breakthrough potions are just overdrawing the potential of the practitioners and cannot achieve breakthroughs without side effects. The fact that there are no side effects alone can make people break their heads. "Master Vork, are you sure there are really no side effects?" "Little Leo, when have I ever made a mistake in my life? I will be responsible for what I say, you can rest assured." As if he understood what the middle-aged man was thinking, the old man said unhappily. The middle-aged man's face changed again. He didn't expect that his quick words would make the old man in front of him unhappy. You know, although this old man is an appraiser in the auction house, his real identity is very scary. Brother, are you going to auction these 2 bottles of perfect potions? Yes. If I don't want to auction them at the auction house, why would I take them for appraisal? Brother, I'm very interested in the potions you are auctioning. I wonder if you can give me 1 bottle. Don't worry, I won't let you suffer a loss. I will put your potion on the auction house for auction. I will buy your other bottle at the auction price. You know, if 2 bottles of such potions appear at the same time, I'm afraid the price will shrink. Since the old man really wants this bottle of potion, then do as you said. Yunfan thought for a while. Scarcity makes things valuable. He felt that this method can indeed maximize his own interests. Since you agree, let's do it. The old man said, little Leo, take you to the number 1 room. It's Lord Vork. The middle-aged man said as he led him to a very luxurious room. It seems that you are very afraid of that old man. Is the old man more than just an appraiser? Little brother, if you knew Lord Vork's identity, you would understand why I'm like this. Lord Vork's full name is Vork Sigil, the old patriarch of the Sigil family. Although he no longer cares about the affairs of the family, it is just a matter of a word to remove the head of a branch auction house. I hope he will be magnanimous and won't. Forget it, let's not talk about this. The middle-aged man smiled bitterly. Chapter 223, Notes of the Saint. Little brother, just wait here for a while. The auction will start soon. The middle-aged man nodded and hurried out of the room. Okay then. Yunfan waved his hand and sat down on the chair without hesitation, then closed his eyes and rested. Sitting on the chair, Yunfan remained silent. This was someone else's territory, so it was better to be cautious. Who could guarantee that there was no peeping or eavesdropping here? Have you found out the identity of that little guy? Vork Sigil said to a black figure. Your Excellency, I have found out the identity of that man. His name is Dante, and he is a student in the intermediate class of Alkaline College. It is said that he was born into an ordinary slave family, but was specially recruited to become a student of the college because of his magical talent. Some time ago, he participated in the ranking battle of the 4 major colleges and won the 1st place. Then he applied for graduation and became the Baron of Gromtown on the west coast. Just today, he went to the Pharmacist Association to take the assessment of a 4th level pharmacist, and this perfect quality 4th level mental power training potion was made by him during the assessment. It is said that a total of 5 bottles were made. The 2 pharmacists, Luohe and Kane, spent 5 million gold coins each to buy a bottle from him. The most important thing is that this man named Dante is a member of the other side, and he has already forged a deep hatred with the Stephen family. It seems that this kid is your majesty's born, and I don't know how far he can go in the future. I wanted to see if I could recruit him, but unfortunately, after more than half an hour of waiting, the auction officially began, and the bright environment around dimmed, and the originally noisy environment also quieted down. The auction hall was very large, and it could accommodate tens of thousands of people. The people who came to the auction were divided into 3 levels according to heaven, earth and man. The people sitting in the hall were at the human level, and the heaven and earth levels had their own private rooms. Of course, these private rooms were only available to the rich and powerful. At this time, under the lights in the center of the auction hall, a beautiful woman in a red dress was using her charming voice to explain the functions and reserve prices of the items to the people participating in the auction. Although the items auctioned at the beginning were not too precious, they were sold at a good price in the woman's crisp and numb voice. The first item, the second item, one by one, the prices of the items were auctioned, and the speed of the hot speed was rising. Yunfan had no interest in some ornamental things. He sat down quietly and looked at most people in the field. With his eyesight, he could naturally see what most people in the field thought. It seems that many auction houses use beautiful women as auctioneers. Yunfan also looked at the beautiful women in the auction house with interest. Chief auctioneer of Sigil Auction House, Miss Sissy, a socialite who is almost known to everyone in Argaman. Her mature and charming style makes many men want to bow down to her. However, this beauty is a poisonous rose. Although she has had scandals with many big figures, no one has really seen her. Many people who have had bad thoughts about her have been beaten up by her. Ji Yunfan, who was sitting quietly, suddenly frowned and turned his head slightly, looking at a man hidden in the dark not far from his seat. A faint murderous aura came from the box, and the murderous aura seemed to be directed at him. What's going on? I don't seem to have offended anyone too much in Argaman City. Ji Yunfan naturally didn't know that the man in black had originally reserved a heaven level box, but later because of Ji Yunfan's appearance, the box was given to him by the auction house. He was driven from the heaven level box to the earth level box. The man in black felt that he was greatly insulted. Face is very important among their nobles. At this moment, the man in black couldn't stop cursing in his heart, but Ji Yunfan didn't care. Only Leonard seemed to have sensed the faint murderous aura. His face sank slightly and he said, "Master, do you want me to kill him?" "No, we are here to auction things, not to cause trouble." Ji Yunfan shook his head, but then a cold light flashed in his eyes. "But if he really comes to die, I don't mind sending him to see the gods." Ji Yunfan's eyes swept to the auction table again, looking at Mrs.'s plump and exquisite charming curves, and whispered, "It's really romantic to die under the peony flowers." Ji Yunfan casually swept his eyes over the items on the auction table, and then he lost interest. Although some things are very good to others, they are not of much use to him. Is it them? Ji Yunfan's moving eyes suddenly paused. He glanced at the people sitting in the front row of the public platform. He couldn't help but look surprised and strange. Zaya and Berkeley, why are they together? The strange idea only existed for a moment and was abandoned, because Ji Yunfan found that, although Zaya and Berkeley were sitting together, they didn't say a word. What are they doing here? He muttered in his heart. Ji Yunfan looked again, but was surprised to find that many foreign adventurers who appeared in Grom Town on the west coast a few days ago were here. There are things that are about to be auctioned here that are attracting them. Ji Yunfan frowned slightly and touched his chin with some curiosity. What on earth could attract so many people? Could it be related to the tomb of the demigod? It must be said that Mrs. is definitely a stunner. Every move she makes is very tempting and will make the prices off the stage soar. Haha, I believe that many adults have already won their favorite items, and many adults have not won their favorite items yet. But don't worry, the auction will enter the time of fine goods auction next. The auction items are definitely rare treasures. I think everyone will be interested. Halfway through the auction, Missy suddenly narrowed her eyes and said, with a wave of her jade hand, a servant hurriedly took out a black leather book from the backstage. This is the practice notes of Antonia Waters, the Dark Saint, 100 years ago, Missy said in a sweet voice, carefully picking up the leather book. The auction was slightly quiet, and after a while, the noise suddenly sounded. On the continent, the Saint level can be said to have stood at the peak. The practice notes of the Saint level strongman, the temptation to become a Saint level strongman, made everyone crazy. The Saint's notes write about the experience of the Dark Saint Antonia Waters becoming a saint. Haha, if you want to break through the Saint level, don't let it go. Mrs. Tempting voice made everyone tempted. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 224 High Price. All those below the saint rank are ants. Once you become a saint, you will have a lifespan of 1,000 years. Everyone, the practice notes of the Dark Saint Antonia Waters are being auctioned without a reserve price. Please start bidding. Missy smiled and moved her eyes around the venue. 50 million gold coins. As soon as Missy finished speaking, someone shouted out the price. 100 million gold coins. The voice of bidding followed closely. 150 million gold coins. The price continued to rise crazily, including Zaya and Berkeley, who all bid crazily, as if they would definitely become a saint if they got the notes. It seems that something is wrong. If it is just the practice notes of a dark saint, it should not be possible for so many people to bid. Is there something I don't know about it? Ji Yunfan muttered to himself. Unable to figure out the reason for a while, Ji Yunfan simply released his mental power and wanted to monitor the situation in the auction house. However, before his mental power covered the entire auction house, many masters felt Ji Yunfan's mental fluctuations. Yunfan was slightly startled and quickly retracted his mental power. It's a good thing you reacted quickly, otherwise you would be in big trouble. If you use your mental power to spy on others at will, others will regard it as a provocation. Sakuden said with some gloating. Hasn't my mental power reached the realm of subtlety? According to common sense, ordinary people should not be able to sense my spying. Yunfan took a deep breath. Reaching the realm of subtlety does not mean that you are invincible. Some special magic props or saint level strongman can sense it. If Yunfan was an ordinary dark magician, he would definitely be interested in the practice notes, but Yunfan was not. He had absorbed part of the memory of a dark god, and he was accompanied by a former god Sakuden who was both his teacher and friend. Yunfan leaned back on the chair leisurely, looking at the lively atmosphere in the venue, and couldn't help shaking his head gently, thinking to himself, if other people knew that there was a living god in my mind, I'm afraid even the saints would be unable to sit still. In the moment, when Yunfan was stunned, the price in the venue continued to rise, and in just a moment, it had reached the height of 900 million. Although most people looked a little excited, they did not immediately bid. The price was too high, and most people did not have the ability to intervene. The scramble continued for a while again, and the sound of scrambling finally slowed down. Many people had reached their limits, and had no ability to continue to bid. At the same time, a faint voice came from the Sciency box next to Yunfan. 1 billion. As soon as the price fell, the voices in the venue quieted down. Some people looked in the direction of the box, and could only shake their heads in frustration. Hey, Sabik, do you have a dark magician in your mercenary group? You actually participated in the auction? A smile came from another Sciency box. Zibiaya, what do you care about me? The person in this box obviously didn't get along with the person in the previous box, and sneered directly. Yunfan didn't know who Zibiaya and Zibiaya were, but others knew that they were deputy leaders of the 2nd and 3rd mercenary groups of the Nigel Empire, and 8th level professionals. 1.1 billion. In less than 5 minutes, in the stunned eyes of everyone in the venue, the two people actually raised the price to the level of 1.7 billion. 2 billion. Just as the two were frantically raising the price, a low voice suddenly came. The hall suddenly became quiet, and all eyes shifted to the person who made the sound. Even Zibiaya and Zibiaya were shocked by his sudden high price. They wondered who was so high. The person who called the price was wrapped in a thick grey robe from head to toe, and his entire face was hidden in a huge hood. The silver mask was worn on this person's face, covering most of his face above the tip of his nose. His body was a little messy, and seemed to still have the breath of a long journey. From the outline, this person should be very young. Little brother, it's very unfamiliar. I'm afraid some things are not what you can afford. Zibi said with a faint smile. The black-robed boy glanced at it and said indifferently, if you want it, just bid for it. Zibi's mouth twitched. He didn't expect that the black-robed boy would dare to speak to him like this. Little brother is right. Haha, if you want it, just bid for it. Sabik also said the words of the black-robed boy. Arsehole. Zibi seemed to be thinking about the pros and cons. It was not sure whether the notebook was true or false. It was undoubtedly an unwise decision to spend money recklessly now. This little brother bid 2 billion gold coins. Is there anyone who wants to bid? Looking at the calm auction field, Mrs. C asked with a smile. 2 billion gold coins once. 2 billion gold coins twice. 2 billion gold coins 3 times. Since no one bids, this practice notebook will be purchased by the little brother. Seeing that no one responded, Miss Sissy tapped the small hammer in his hand on the table lightly and ended the auction. The black-robed youth breathed a sigh of relief, but he found that many people had cast malicious eyes on him at this moment, and his heart, which had been relieved, was lifted up again. Damn it. The black-robed youth knew that he had become a prey in the eyes of everyone, and if he was not careful, he might be doomed. But for that thing, he had to do it. Is there any secret in this practice notebook? Yunfan said to himself with great curiosity. The black-robed youth walked directly towards the auction staff, whispered to the staff for a while, and was taken to the backyard by the staff. Okay, let's start the auction. The next one to be auctioned is a bottle of very special potion. Mrs. smiled mysteriously, and the lights on the high platform dimmed. Then a very beautiful woman came over from the backstage dragging a mithril disc. There was a bottle of potion in the silver disc. The potion was slightly golden, and it was quite mysterious against the silver disc. 4th level spiritual power training potion. Mrs. Are you mistaken? It's just a bottle of 4th level spiritual power training potion. How can it be described as special? Many people said disappointedly. What if I say this potion is of perfect quality? Mrs. said with a mysterious smile. As soon as the words perfect quality potion came out, the auction venue suddenly became silent, followed by an uproar. How can a perfect quality potion be used in this world? Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. Chapter 225 Bandits Attack. Otherwise, how can I say that this potion is special? Don't worry, this potion has been personally identified by Lord Vorksigil. This potion can increase the speed of spiritual power cultivation by 100% when practiced normally. Taking it when breaking through to the 5th level at the 4th level can increase the probability of breakthrough by 30%. It has a great effect, even after entering the 5th level. There is no negative effect. The medicinal power is also extremely mild and will not cause any side effects. Ordinary adventurers focus on the efficacy of the potion, but for pharmacists, the efficacy is no longer the focus. The sensation caused by the perfect quality is undoubtedly more shocking. Legend has it that only saint-level pharmacists have a chance to refine a perfect potion. The most important thing is that pharmacists can improve their refining level by studying this perfect potion. After a brief shock, some people in the venue came back to their senses one after another, and their pairs of fiery eyes stared at the potion on the stage. This thing is too tempting for ordinary pharmacists below the saint level, but there are indeed not many pharmacists present. Just as Sakadin expected, the perfect 4th level potion was sold at the price of a 5th level advanced potion, and was bought by a 4th level pharmacist who participated in the auction for 8 million gold coins. Looking at the scene of the auction, Yunfan couldn't help but chuckle and waited for the auction to end. After leaving the auction, Yunfan was led to the reception room by the auction staff. Under the respectful gaze of the middle-aged man, Yunfan walked in. After a while, a sound of footsteps came from outside, and Vorksigil pushed the door open. How did he come here? Little brother, you made a lot of money this time. 8 million gold coins. After our auction house takes 3% of the fee, it is 7.76 million gold coins. The bottle I bought from you is not counted as a fee. 15.76 million gold coins. Thank you very much, old man. I don't know who your master is. He can actually teach such a talented pharmacist. Vorksigil seemed to ask unconsciously. The old fox is worthy of being an old fox. I don't have a master now. I just learned some knowledge of medicine by myself. Yunfan waved his hand. I didn't expect that the little brother is so amazing. If those guys who think they are geniuses hear it, they will probably commit suicide. Vorksigil naturally didn't believe what Yunfan said. Since the money was in hand, Yunfan didn't want to stay any longer. He bowed politely to Vorksigil and said lightly, since the medicine has been auctioned off, I have some other things to do, so I won't stay here for long. Haha, of course there is no problem. If the little brother needs to auction any medicine in the future, please take care of our auction house. Vorksigil smiled slightly. Of course. Yunfan responded calmly, slowly stood up, and slowly walked out of the auction house. Looking at Yunfan's back as he left, Vorksigil narrowed his eyes slightly and didn't know what he was thinking. I don't understand this kid. Although he is not very old, he acts like an old fox. After a short silence, Vorksigil asked softly, and his alchemy skills are definitely better than mine. At least, I can't make the perfect quality potion. No one knows that. Although Vorksigil only wears the badge of a 3rd level pharmacist, his real pharmacist level has reached the 6th level, which can be said to be a genuine high level pharmacist. I really don't know how this kid did it. With nearly 16 million gold coins, Yunfan began to sweep the city of Argaman. There were really not many good things in the town of Grom on the west coast. After buying more than 500 slaves, Yunfan was ready to go back. 4 or 5 miles away from the town of Grom on the west coast, Yunfan suddenly had an ominous feeling, because the road to the town of Grom on the west coast was dusty. Everyone speed up. Yunfan said with a gloomy face. Just as he approached the town of Grom on the west coast, Yunfan noticed that a group of people were besieging the town of Grom on the west coast. Baron, it's bandits. A young man dressed as a palace soldier said to Yunfan nervously. These guys, I didn't bother them, but they came to bother me. They really don't want to live. Yunfan's eyes flashed coldly, and then he said to the palace soldier, you take the people away first, I'll go meet them. Baron, you must not go over there. These bandits are inhumane, and will definitely be bad for you. The palace soldier changed slightly and hurriedly spoke to persuade him. I'm afraid they don't have the ability to do that. Yunfan smiled confidently. But, I've made up my mind. Take the people away. Master, let me take action to deal with them. O'Neill Leonard said. Since following Yunfan, O'Neill Leonard, has not officially taken action. He wants to try how much his strength has recovered. Uncle O'Neill, you don't need to do anything for such a small matter. Besides, my soldiers have been trained for several months, and it's time to see the effect. Yunfan smiled slightly. Well, I haven't moved for a long time. I want to move a little. Since the young master won't let me, forget it. O'Neill Leonard said with a little disappointment. Don't worry, Uncle O'Neill, I'm afraid it won't be long before you have a chance to make a move. Yunfan said with a deep look. At this moment, the leading bandit had a terribly gloomy face. He never thought that the west coast Grom town, which was once like a sheep to them, and they could ravage it as they wanted, was now like a copper wall and iron wall, and they had no way to start. Moreover, the other party used a weapon they had never seen before. This weapon was not only powerful, but also had a very long attack distance. Many of his men were killed and injured before they even approached the west coast Grom town. Third leader, you must take care of us. These little bastards are simply going too far. Have you investigated what those weapons are? Where did they come from? The third leader of the mountain bandits roared with a fierce look in his eyes. We have investigated it. According to the information provided by a merchant we captured, the fire-breathing weapon is called a magic gun, and it was made by a baron named Dante. Do you know how many of those weapons there are? The third leader of the mountain bandits asked in a deep voice. I don't know, but according to that merchant, there are quite a few of those weapons in the town of Grom on the west coast. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.